Welcome to the J.Gray podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It is good to be back. I am joined by Ishmael Stinson.
What's happening in the building again?
Good to see you again, brother.
Hey, good to see you too, bro. Just happy to be here, man. Just, you already know, it's always a good time when we connect. You know what I'm saying? So happy to see some of the progress made in the studio. Oh, that's huge.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we got a lot more space in here compared to before. A lot of boxes and items that were sorted. Still a little bit more fine-tuning and tweaking, but I'm really happy where things are. I could definitely use some longer cables for sure, but it's...
I mean, from outside, I think it looks great. Definitely huge progress. I mean, it's definitely getting the job done, too. I mean, I think when it comes down to it with the studio, you got to get the job done, man. You got to get the job done.
That's right. And let's kick off from here because that's a great segue into what people are going to be looking for in production for the future.
Yep.
So many of these big budget type of films and endeavors, required so much that COVID has completely changed.
Wiped it out.
So I'm thinking of like what kind of vacuum are we going to have in the next year of content that's not coming out? So much stuff has been pushed back. So many films are waiting till the spring. But you know who did it right first was the people over at Universal with the Too Fast, Too Furious franchise. Oh, yeah. As soon as the virus was announced, pretty much like, okay, we're going to delay it for a year.
Yeah.
We're not even going to play the game of we'll keep pushing it back a month or two. We're just going to do it for 2021.
Yeah. Because it's tough with the updates. I know Black Widow's been updated, 14 times?
Yeah.
Literally.
Yep.
Like, oh, we're going to move it back 2 months. Okay, we're moving back to the end of summer. Okay, we're moving it back to the very end of the winter. Okay, we're going to move it back to next year. Okay, we're going to move it back to almost summer next year. I think it's May now. And I feel like for something like that had a full rollout, I don't know if that was the best. They basically did a whole rollout of this movie's coming out next month to rewind it back. But, I mean, hey, you live and you learn. But just kind of talking about how much the production is going to have to change, even if it is only for a short, limited time, like another 2-3 years, or if this ends up being the new, forever normal. I do feel like there is going to be a vacuum because, okay, yeah, we still can't do larger, huge things. But what about all these artists, all these creatives? They're going to need studio space. They're going to need studio time. They're going to need production value, which I feel like a place like this, high quality mics, high quality setup, cameras, angles, knowledge, can be something that fills that void and can become its own thing.
This is what I was able to build on a bartender's budget, right? So if you
see, took some glasses home, guys.
That's right. That's what's helping us through this thing. People have books behind them and all these different Zoom meetings and whatnot. I'm like, can we be for real? What's really getting us through this?
Let's get realistic.
Yeah, this and water or at the same time. The need for that type of studio space from the ground up after any type of collapse is going to be absolutely necessary to help these artists, right?
Definitely.
And working in Los Angeles and part of that studio system and knowing or having an idea of what a studio costs per day to rent it out, for a lot of young artists or new artists, that's just astronomical. That's the dream, right? But they have to sign a deal with a record company, or they have to put so much of themselves on the line for the future in order to get that studio space. Well, to cultivate or create something that a lot of artists have access to that still has that same standard level of production, I'm definitely on board with that, man. That's a reason why I put this together and why you and I jam so well because we have these similar visions in mind. We have these same goals in mind.
Definitely, man. I definitely love what you're saying. It's just really not realistic. And in my experience working with independent artists or artists that are just local that are trying to come up and then trying to, I was doing a little bit different. I'm trying to have a live event type production. We're doing entertainment factor. But I was seeing the same thing. It's just not really reasonable. When I asked them for even just, hey, yo, can I get some mastered? Oh, man, I only got like 2 songs mastered, or only, they don't even have the tools that they need to be able to properly represent themselves, even if they have the talent. So it's about giving them those tools, giving them a space, giving them guidance and knowledge in a smaller thing. And I think that's exactly where our visions align in that way. And that's exactly, too, what kind of really inspired me to, be an entrepreneur or also make a studio that is going to be built from the ground up, working with you, working with others. I know there's another guy, his name is Dom. He goes by Grimeshine, but he does beats. He masters and he makes beats, right? And he just been, me and him also been going back and forth, real similar to you. Like, hey, yo, you know, you have a lot of equipment, man. You're not working. What are you about to do? You know. So what he actually did, he actually just retroed out a Astro van. You know, I don't know if you see, like
I did. I saw that video that you shared yesterday.
Yeah, I posted it. So I don't know if you. I mean, he's really professional with his mastering and stuff like that. But it's really nice to be able to come in this nice setting. I can park it anywhere. So he's actually doing a little demo-y thing where he's parking it at Alki Beach, really nice beach for this weekend, I think. And I think he's maybe doing a practice next week. He's kind of trying to roll it out, practice it. You know what I mean? But he's building out so you could be on site, on location, or even if you want to go way out into the forest and you want to produce, you want to be in there, have all the equipment. You can even rent him out as to master it and help you produce whatever you're doing. Or if you just want to go in there, you want to record, you want to be zen, you want to sing, you want to do your spoken word, you can kind of have that, but have everything you need, be out in nature, or you know, if you want to go downtown city and walk out, you know, get some people, get their input, and then go back in and use that inspiration. It's just a different aspect. It's a different thing. And I think, you know, those people like us that are thinking like that right now, man, we're it might take a lot of faith, but it's gonna pay out, because I just feel like, you know, it's like when the rubber meets the road, you know, something has to give, and we're at least trying to give a lane for that wheel to go somewhere, or for that, you know, that creative churn to get out and go somewhere. And I think there's going to be a lot, and it's really about us also changing our thinking of cooperation over competition. You know, if I think you were saying this before when we were just on the phone. You know, yo, man, if my space doesn't fit what they're saying or what they're looking for, I want to be able to pass them to you. And then, you know, you come to mine, oh, man, it's not quite big enough. I want to be able to pass it to a bigger space. And then you know, we still give you what you need, you know, and it may be they can still use you for some of their directing and some of their script writing or something like that. They can still use me for maybe some of the promotion and some of the vision like that. Now everybody eats. You know, we're all good. You know what I mean? That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
It should be the goal, to cultivate those personal relationships and to build those great networks. You know, the word networking, when people tell me, I want to go network, I'm like, geez, because sometimes you go to these parties and you just want to go to a party and meet people. But a lot of times in LA, everybody's trying to network. So you're always on your guard of like, oh, this person was really cool, but do they really want to hang out, or are they looking for something from me career-wise, you know? There is a proper way to do that, and that's being 100% either up front or wear it on your sleeve what you're about.
Yeah.
What business are you in?
Kind of living your purpose, too, and just kind of always be exuding that. I feel like you're pretty good at that. You know, like we've met all kinds of different friends, and they ask you what you do. You're able to say you're a producer, but you're also able to just, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm a producer in this specific lane. I do this. You know what I'm saying? So if you got anything in that, let me know. If not, I'm just your guy, Clutch. You know what I mean?
And it's been a process and a journey of maturity to be able to feel comfortable with that title, with that word. Like, oh, what do you do? I produce. Mm-hmm. I put stuff together and make sure it's entertaining and put it out to the world, right? There's so many different facets of what it takes and what that means, and all different types of puzzles you try to put together depending on the production. But at the end of the day, you want to cultivate a great couple moments, be it a song for 3-4 minutes, or a stream for 4 hours, or a film for 2 hours. You want to put something together when people listen to it or they see it, they go, that was totally worth my time. Definitely. I want more. Subscribe.
Definitely.
And you don't need a giant Hollywood contract to make that happen anymore.
You really don't. And you don't need 10,000 people to show up or 1,000 people to show up. You know what I mean? You make it happen with 50 to 100. I mean, you know what I mean? If you're able to have a good product, you know, I think, you know, the macro thinking is not necessarily always the solution, you know, and it's like, if I can get, I think we talked about this before, if I can get 1,000 customers throughout a year to give me $100, that's 100,000, you know. Do I really need that much more than that? Maybe, but probably not, you know, kind of thing like that. So it's like, it's just thinking about how you can give the value to, you know, whoever your client, customer, or whoever it is. And I always felt like you always want to give more than expected, if that makes any sense. Like, you always want to give greater value. I know with my events, I feel like it's hard because it's an event. All kinds of stuff can happen. Somebody's car can get declined, stuff like that, but I just tried to make sure I just had such a positive, nice, no stress ambiance. And that's one thing I think I'm good at, is making everybody else feel like they're not stressed out.
Yep.
No matter how stressed out I am, or you're never going to know. It's going to be as chill can be on the live end day. I'm going to just go with the flow. I'm going to, be accountable, and I'm also be attentive. But at the same time, once, there's a lot of work, a lot of times for production, especially I'm just kind of speaking from mine. There's a lot of pre-work. And if you do the pre-work, I tend to not worry about it after that. Once you do the pre-work, oh man, the mic went out. Well, I did the pre-work and I had another mic, so I'm not going to freak out. I'm going to just do the mic change, kind of thing like that, and just keep it moving. Or, oh man, this artist didn't show up. You're supposed to perform at da-da-da. You know what? I'm going to just go up there and tell them, hey man, somebody didn't show up, man. Let me just try to shoot the shit and hit you guys with jokes. Nobody laughs. All right, well, what I mean? We're just going to keep moving. It's kind of, I feel like the pre-work is the tough part, so you shouldn't let the product also be a tough part or be a burden on you as a producer or content creator, or even an artist. Say you make a song or something like that, it maybe doesn't blow up right off the bat, but you got to think about, there's some people that, they're pushing their song for 2-3 years and it only becomes a catchy hit at the end of year 3. I think there was a R&B singer that just recently had that story kind of roll out, where she had been pushing a song. I think it was Ella May. And she had been pushing the song for literally 2 years. I'm talking like the same song, not putting out no new music, just really pushing the song. And then eventually it caught on, became one of those catchy things that people can't get out of their head. Then she made a music video. Then she made 3-4 remixes. And now she's 4 years away from when she made the song originally. But now she's getting that recognition. So something, it just pans out like that. So it's just, if you do the pre-work, make good content, live in your purpose, kind of like what you were saying earlier, be intentful and be direct, I feel like the rest of it, there's really nothing to worry about,
Yeah, it tends to work in your favor when you are focused like that, and when you have to put in the work. There's no magic wand that will replace the work, and so you sitting down watching YouTube all day, thinking like, oh, I can put together this song. I got the track. I've recorded the beats. But you have to seriously sit down and do it.
And decide, what do I like, what do I don't like. There's no magic person. Hey, man, is this good, man? No, you got to sit through there and you got to kind of sift through it.
Yeah, you have to treat it like a job with your time. And the best way to do that is, if you're just getting started, treat it like a part-time job. Yeah. Put 2 to 4 hours away within your schedule daily and work on it during that time. That was how I first got comfortable with writing. I read this book by Stephen King on writing, and he gave some good cornerstones, some good foundations in order to become a good writer in the sense of your schedule, right? I mean, you're going to get better the more you do, but you have to put in the work, and also included reading. And I've never forgotten that. Even with putting together graphics or working on the camera shots or the lighting, you have to put in the time and put in the work day by day. And if you don't do that, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's that consistent work that allows you to get to a place that you feel 100% about your product. Be it that the crowd, as you were saying, the fans, they don't really tune into it until a couple years later. As long as you feel 100% about it, and you did all the work, at the end of the day, that's the best thing you can ask yourself for an artist.
That's it.
And I have had a number of those shows that I feel absolutely wonderful about. Just don't have this to go with it yet. But you keep grinding, you keep going.
Keep grinding.
And that type of satisfaction, gives me strength, at least, to know that I'm proud of the body of work that I have.
Yeah.
I remember Conan O'Brien, when he was going through all that BS with NBC and then left for TBS.
Wow.
The most important thing to all of it was his body of work, everything that he had made with NBC, and to still have the rights to that.
Yeah.
And that stuff's huge. And a lot of people out there are looking for good ways to figure out how to put together their body of work. There's not a whole lot of mentors out there right now. And that's the most difficult thing about this entire space is the difficulty of not a lot of mentors.
That's a great call out, especially with the mentor thing. I actually, somebody else just brought that up, but I feel like there really isn't too much of a bridge from the older generation to the millennials, or even from us as the millennials down to the teenagers that are teenagers right now, or even preteens right now. I try to make a substantial effort in my own family, just because there's so many of us. You know what I mean? And like kind of my extended first cousins and stuff like that. But I do. I feel good about mine, but then when I look at some of my friends, I'm like, oh, how often do you talk to an 11-year-old or a 12-year-old? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's like kind of tough. And then also too, how often do you talk to a 60 or 70-year-old? You know, I mean, I feel, and that's where that mentoring comes in, because I feel like, I don't know, when I was younger, and I remember hating this. I remember hating it, but I remember my dad. I would always ask my dad some tough questions, and he wasn't really too much of a talker, but he would like just bring me to somebody that had the solution. So I remember in like 8th grade, I was like, man, I'm just so little. I just want to be bigger. You know what I'm saying? I just really want to lift and like stuff like that. And he was like, well, you know, right around 9th grade, you're going to be ready for that. My dad's not a big guy. He's a pretty skinny guy. He was like, you know, I don't really know too much, but I got a buddy who's been, you know, bodybuilding for whatever. I'm literally going to just drop you off at his house at 6 a.m. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm going to pick you up, you know what I mean? And then we're going to like go from there. And I remember being like, no, I want to do what you did, but he didn't have the knowledge, you know, and he literally passed it to somebody. And then me and him were talking about it the other day. He was like, yeah, I actually didn't know nothing about lifting at all. You know, I feel like you were real confident in me, but I had no clue. And then, like, as you started getting into it, I was like, oh, let me just get into it with them. And then now we're going to the gym together, you know, after I kind of let you, you know, go off with, you know, one of my buddies for so long. And he did that for a lot of things. There'd be a lot of things that I asked questions about. And then, like, 2 or 3 weeks later, he'd be like, come on. And I'm like, come on. Like, I remember I asked about, like, rocket ships. And he just, like, I guess he just made a friend at Hobby Lobby, and then like decided to like on that dude's day off, he was just gonna bring his son to like, so the dude at the Hobby Lobby could show me how to work the rocket ship, because he didn't know. And I just feel like I don't know how much the younger generations are getting that. I feel like a lot of my young cousins are not really getting that. I try to interact with them a lot. I like, you know, I had one of my cousins as a part of that taking the tickets at one of my events, and she was like 15, and I feel like that really spurred her to ask a lot more questions. Oh, what do you do, cousin? Like, I don't even get it. You know, even though I was there the whole time. And I was like, you know, glad that you asked. Like, now we're talking about stuff or whatever. And I just feel like, you know, looking back on it and reflecting on it in terms of mentorship, my dad definitely put me in the place with a lot of different mentors in the areas that he was not an expert in, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like as a kid, I was like, this is weak. I don't know this guy, you know what I'm saying? He's just a big buff guy. But I just, like, my dad just dropped me off. I had no choice. So I would just absorb the information being around these people, getting that mentorship in a real informal fashion type of thing. But I think that was really powerful for me as a young age to be like, oh, not only to have a learning mindset, but to also to be like, yo, there's pathways to get to what I want. You know, and maybe I might have to reach out to somebody and learn from somebody, you know. I feel like working with you has been really, really positive on, you know, crisping up some of the techniques and some of the organizational when it comes to production, you know, because I freestyle almost everything. And it works a lot of times, but until it doesn't work, you know. And so just having some of the stuff I learned from this guy, Josh, and to be able to add that into what I do have. And, you know what I mean? I think I do believe that as a young male, or not even like an adult male, I feel like I'm a little bit more receptive to critique or changing than others. And I feel like that because of my like mentory type past or whatever. But I feel like I feel like that's really lacking right now.
Yeah, I've been contemplating about this for a while. I had a good talk with a friend of mine who's a writer, wrote for Mortal Kombat, and is writing for another title at the moment. And we had expressed just the sheer lack of mentorship. I mean, definitely have had good bosses, good conversations. I've had good lunches with actors and people that were getting work that I treasured. Don't get me wrong. I'm like, I definitely thank all those people that took their time to give me great advice and to spend that time. But for somebody to like consistently give me goals, or for me to call anytime to be like, hey, how do I put this together as a producer?
Work on projects together even.
Yeah. The nature of the space is just cutthroat, but because everything is moving so quickly with technology, but also the ramifications of the Industrial Revolution and how so many families left. Like, usually you grew up in the same village and you became an apprentice to the blacksmith or the tailor or somebody to learn that trade.
Your dad was the blacksmith and now you're the son of the blacksmith.
And then you could go off to school and become a lawyer, but then come back to that town and practice law in that town. Well, with the Industrial Revolution, families have just split apart, where the oldest son goes off to the city to work. And seeing those ramifications generation in, generation out, I wonder how much of that separation has inflicted us of feeling more alone and feeling more apart, especially after leaving the institutions of school. Because the quote-unquote normal nuclear way of building an American family, well, at least how we were taught growing up, and the mainstream zeitgeist was, elementary school, junior high or middle school, high school, college, find your soulmate during college or just after when you're starting your career. That's when you start your family. Like, people are pumping out kids 2, 3, 4 by the time they hit their mid-20s.
Yes.
That doesn't exist anymore.
I mean,
that life doesn't exist.
We tried to play it out. I'll be honest, we tried. I went to college, you know what I'm saying? I literally tried. I gave it the good old college try, and I just remember when I graduated and I was working at Target, and I was just like, no way. I got a bachelor's degree. First one in my family, and I'm working at Target. Come on. Whoa, what did I do? What did I do wrong? What did I screw up? Then I was like, man, okay, whatever. If I just get a bunch of jobs. I remember at one point I had 4 jobs. I worked at Target during the day, and I worked at 3 different bars during security. So I would like get off at Target, work the early shift, like 6 to 8, 6 to 10. Then I go from 10, walk to another bar. After that one closed at 10, work there till 2. Then on weekends I work at the concerts, like at Tacoma Dome, stuff like that. And I'm just working 90 hours a week. Like, what?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and that was just for me to just pay rent. And I was just like, what? I just graduated for this? And I'm just like, that was actually mostly for me to pay my student loans. They were like just so much pressure. I was like, oh my God, I got all this that I got to pay. You know what I mean? The minimum payment is high as hell. Like, what the hell? I got my car bill. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking. And it was just, yeah, man. I feel like it definitely doesn't exist in that way. I mean, I definitely know a lot of people that had it play out, like similar to that. Not that they didn't have hurdles or same hurdles or anything like that, but a lot of them also, had a hurdle of finding that career path or whatever like that. And I just feel like it's just, man, it's tough. But I do feel, I was just thinking, this is kind of random, but kind of on point. We were just talking about like the nuclear family. I do still feel like, definitely with the if you really think about it, like, women are getting a lot more educated, they're getting a lot more, and I feel like this might be a hurdle for some like males, but if you could kind of get over the way of the nuclear family, and choose a partner based off of a skill set that could bring you guys up to go, obviously you want to love her and care about her as well too, but you know what I'm saying? I feel like some of people our age kind of feel defeated if they didn't get married or something like that in the time. And I feel like that isn't necessarily the right thinking, because you still could, can run into a partner or find a partner, or the hope I see or I think is that okay, now we're both going to be pretty veteran going into this. So if I do find a partner in the near time from now or in the next 10 to 15 years, I'm going to be pretty solid, spiritually, I'm going to be in a lot more solid place than I would have even been if I would have ran through it. So I'm wondering how that's going to pan out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? How's that going to affect the next generation? Yeah, there might be a little bit of gap. Parents might be a little bit older again, but how's that going to affect that next generation? Because I know when I think about the nuclear family, I still definitely want some kind of a nucleus, you know what I'm saying? But I might not want to live in one place. I might want to travel all around the world. But at the same time, I do think, even though I feel like I'm pretty solid and I could be a dependable male for a family, I do feel like if I can get the right partner, I could really level up.
Yeah. I mean, that's ultimately what it's all about, right? You should find somebody that edifies you. But I don't think, I know for me that didn't happen in my 20s, but I feel that our society, even from the roots of Puritanism and Christianity, is if you don't find a partner or get married in your 20s, you are a bit of a failure.
Yeah,
right?
Something's wrong with you. Yeah,
yeah, and I think women have that pressure more than men because of the biological differences of them on a ticking clock to have children. It's kind of feeling that way and feeling free and independent, but lonely and trying to find a girlfriend in my 20s, but then realizing more of who I am and what I want. And the last thing I'd want to do is to date somebody for a year and be like, well, that was fun, but I'm not getting married. I'm not having children. Yeah. So the woman's going to be like, so I just wasted a year of my life. Yeah, right? Exactly. I don't want any of those scenarios. So that's not fair to anybody. Really so it's back to the career and doing what's best for me type thing, which is totally fine. Yeah. But there was a bit of that zeitgeist of getting over the
anxiety almost.
The anxiety of
what am I doing? I'm not doing it right.
Yeah, society is telling me that I'm not enough. even though I've got my degree, trying to pay off the debt, all that stuff. But but like you said, people have made it work, and those that found love and wanted to raise children or wanted to adopt. When I think of a nuclear family, I just think of two parents of any variety, and kids growing up, and one's the main breadwinner, and the other one raises a family for the first 5 years, because that's how it was for me when I grew up. Both my parents worked, but then when my mom was pregnant, she's like, okay, well, it looks like I'm raising kids for the next couple years. But then she started to work at the school we were at, so if I needed a signature for a permission slip, I'd be like, oh, I forgot. Let me just walk down the hallway and get it from my mom real quick. Okay, I can go. So my parents made it work, but I would not want to go through the stress of both myself and my partner having a full-time career and trying to start a family.
Yeah. See, here's where I'm at. I'm going to come in. Both of my parents are going to be retired. Come on, you're going right to grandma's. Get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? We could get it done. But I mean, I that's exactly kind of what I think for the nuclear family. I do feel like in my family, we definitely, living with your cousins for a couple years or with your grandma, that was a real normal thing. And I feel like I'm trying to also kind of bake that into the future. And what I mean by that is that it's like, okay, well, if we have a cousin or family member that likes kids, let's just invest in them and get them a daycare. You know what I'm saying? Because, childcare is crazy expensive, especially if you're off-siting it. So, it actually makes more sense a lot of times for people to come off of work to other than pay for that, because the expense is just too high. But say you got a cousin, she loves kids, she's already in, childcare or whatever, she works at another daycare, forget that. Let's put our money together, and all that money that we were going to pay for child services, let's put it all together and give her a daycare, and now our kids goes there. Not only do you have a little bit more influence or control over what your kid is exposed to, but you're also, empowering your family member to do what they want to do. You're empowering yourself to be able to be more comfortable because I definitely would hate to put a woman in a position where it's like, yo, I'm not making enough. You have to work. You have to get pregnant, have the baby, and you don't even get no time to take a break. I wouldn't even want to put any spouse or anything in that situation. Sure, I don't even put myself in that situation. I feel like like we want to both be able to be there. Okay, let's think about a holistic. I'm all about treat the disease, not the symptom, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like I feel like on the surface, it's like we just don't have enough time to have kids and stuff like that, or it's too expensive or stuff like that. But like the bigger aspect, there's a bigger aspect of you can make it all work. You know what I mean? Especially with this new, I don't know if people are really realizing, but there's like the new paradigm that's happening with the school, because your kid's not going to learn nothing on the computer. I don't know what you guys think is going on. This school year is a complete wrap.
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying? But you can, the innovators, the smart parents, I mean, not even the smart parents, sometimes it's the parents that just have the time to come up with something innovative or whatever, are going to figure out that like, yo, I might need to just find the best teacher I can find in the area, pay them, you know what I'm saying, to teach like 5 of the kids that live on the same block, that are around the same age. You know what I'm saying? Get one-on-one. I was lucky to go to private school when I was in high school, and I know getting one-on-one teaching, where I'm talking about like my average class size was like 7, and there was a couple classes where we had 4 of us, and like the teacher knew exactly how you thought, exactly what questions you were going to have an issue on to kind of guide you and, prep you, and, you know what I'm saying? And I remember also too I remember specifically that class that I had 4 people in, it was a math class. There was originally 5 guys, but one kid, I guess, got bored in the summer and took the whole class. Yeah, it was a calculus class. So he took the whole AP calculus class in the summer, and then on the first day, he just like let everybody know that, and then the teacher just gave him the test, the final, right then, and he aced it. And so she was like, well, you don't have to do this class anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll sign off on your credit or whatever. So now it's just 4 of us. We're intimate with the teacher. You know what I'm saying? We're able to work. I think we blew through the book in like half the school period, and then we were just doing our own like. They literally were like, go out and find calculations and bring those back. But think about if you could make that in a private, you know what I mean, in your house, since we're on the COVID situation with, 5 or 10 kids or whatever, with a teacher that you care about and you trust. You know what I mean? Like, let's start thinking about how this could really shift. You know what I'm saying? This could be positive. And it can be more positive for these teachers who aren't really getting paid a fair wage. You know what I'm saying? If you're you're taking that child care cost away from the parents, but you're also teaching 5 or 6 parents or whatever. It's going to add up. You know what I'm saying? That's going to add up.
A lot of things are changing with this paradigm shift, especially as I talked about a number of times with some previous videos with commuting. And how most people are like, why am I commuting if I can just work from home? And a number of businesses have actually paid their employees to move out of the higher density zones that cost more money, like San Francisco or Los Angeles, to go move back to the small town they came from with their parents. Yeah. As long as they have internet,
you're good.
It's better quality of living because they're closer to family and they're paying for less for, rent, groceries, everything, right? Yep. So that entire paradigm shift, I'm very excited for, because I think that could really adapt the ingenuity and in some ways work ethic and the work schedule. I think we kind of
needed it because the internet was making things too easy. We needed another kind of shift that allows us to apply the internet at a higher.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like kind of what you're just saying.
And there will be a pendulum swing kind of back towards reality, but not necessarily for work. I think for art, of people like, listen, I gotta go see a play. Events.
That's gonna be.
I think what
boomer, and we're gonna be ready for it.
That's right. I think what a lot of businesses will do is partner up and go, okay, we're gonna use this office space every Monday, Friday.
Yeah.
And then these other guys are Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
And then these guys only meet once a week on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then you just share that office space instead of having to have a dedicated office space all day, all those bills, all that overhead.
Yeah.
It seems like there was a lot of the old ways of doing things before the internet.
Yeah.
And just how much time it takes for things to change, but honestly, most of it happens or gets accelerated because of a catastrophe or something crazy.
It gets accelerated. Yep. So we're in that. We don't need to, I don't know. You can freak out if you want to, but I know that my life has been a lot of change, a lot of, in football, you call it a sudden change when there's a turnover and you were just playing and you got to go back out. You call it sudden change. Everybody just screams it. And if you were just relaxing, put your helmet on, just run on the field. Don't even think about it. It's sudden change. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's where I feel most comfortable when the more chaos is going on. The more I feel at home, which, probably not for everybody, so at a time like this, I just see so much of the opportunities. I feel like I just see the cracks and the windows, like kind of you're saying, like there's opportunity now. There's, where stuff was kind of stiff before now is, and even when you bring up the like, multiple working space. One of the spaces that in Capitol Hill where I'm looking to open up my studio, there is one particularly of the spaces that I'm looking at that might end up being perfect for something like that, where it's like I'm still, because I think I was telling you before, it's possibly like 2 spaces in the same building from the same owner, but they're like separate spaces. We have the key to both of them and still stay under budget. But like the top space could be that, hey, you want to just get out of working in your own space right now. You live in Capitol Hill. Hey, come down here for, maybe you have a real big project you really need to focus on. You can't have your cat on the damn keys every day. You know what I'm saying? And then your husband in there, hey, come work in this space. We're going to have the high-speed internet. We'll have the monitors. We'll have all the stuff you need. Come work in this space. There might be some art stuff going on in this space, like in and out and stuff like that. But like really opening it up to whatever is needed by the community is kind of what I'm starting to kind of like, this can get a little bit more malleable than I first thought when I was thinking of a studio space. It can get a little bit more malleable, a workspace, an art gallery, where maybe an artist just, gets a sponsor and they pay a whole week for people to be able to walk in and out of this space and have a gallery in this space. That's when you're talking about stuff that's going to be resurgent and events, I think that's going to be what's big. And where I'm going to fit in is that small scale. We're not quite the museum, you know what I'm saying? But we're also not your buddy's, garage. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be nice and we're going to be, presentable and everything and have all the tools. I think it's more about this tools when you use your buddy's garage. He don't have an outlet that you need. He said he had 6 glasses. He only had 4 glasses. Now we're playing the game with glasses and we're missing 2 glasses. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's, not even to say like, like you can't do stuff with your buddies because that's all I'm trying to do. But it's just about having all the equipment that you need to get it done because, people are going to also just want to get out their damn house. You know what I mean? They'll be like, yo, I've been working on this project for 16 weeks. You know what I mean? I'm hitting a roadblock. Let me just go into this workspace where everybody else in that space is working, co-op space. Let's get this done. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I can even bounce some ideas off some people and just create that space. So that's something too that I think I'm gonna be shifting into. It's crazy that you said that, but I think it just, when I saw this new space, I was just like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, this kind of looks like an office, you know what I'm saying? But it has 15 feet ceilings, you know what I'm saying? So I could still make it a dope gallery space and event space and studio space. But shoot, if I just need an office, shoot. And you know what I mean? You're living in Cap Hill, and come on, man. Come on down to the studio, man. It's all love down here.
It's important having that vision, because that's what gets stuff done. As you visualize it, you make it happen. But for you, what type of programs, grants, federal help has been available? Have you been to research any of that? And
Definitely.
What do you think it's going to take for you to have access to that?
Definitely. So I've been looking up quite a bit of grants, quite a bit of local stuff going on. I probably applied to about four grants total, 2 of them local, 2 of them like kind of federal, but they're more just about creative arts and where that money will go to. A lot of it will go to when we do have events that are put on by the studio. So if I have my own event at the studio put on by us, it's going to be, the money from that is going to come from the grants or come from donations in that way. So that has been pretty positive. I'm still looking for grants. I actually had a grant that just came up. I think the brand is called Fundera. Let me read off the specifics. It's actually pretty simple, and I thought it was a good opportunity for me to kind of rattle it off today. But basically, they were looking for a video on why you became an entrepreneur. But let me look at their exact specifics, because I feel like this is, for anybody that watches this, it's not due till January 2021. All you got to do is post with a specific title. Let me actually read it out right now.
All right.
Man. So this is the Fundera Zach Grant 2021. Basically says, are you a small business owner? Apply for a chance to win $2,500 grant, so $2,500 grant for your business. Fundera is committed to helping entrepreneurs and raising awareness of small business issues. They are proud to introduce their annual entrepreneurial grant, the Zach Grant, to help budding entrepreneurs grow their business. They will award $2,500 to the best video entry, and the check will be payable directly to the business. So that sounds like a no holds barred grant. I have received 2 grants in my day. Some of them are pretty no holds barred. They give you a check that's for the business, and then you just have to do some kind of reporting afterwards. Some of them are a little bit more kind of walk you through type of stuff like that. So basically you have to produce the invoice, and then they will give you that bill based on what you submitted. So if it's like, hey, we want to do this playground project, we need $10,000 for equipment, $18,000 for blah, 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 you're going to need to go out, get the equipment, invoice it, send it to them, then they're going to do it. A little bit slower, but you got to be prepared for stuff like that with the grants. A little bit slower, but those can be just as lucrative, and also sometimes those give you a little bit more leeway. If you said in your budget $8,000 for this equipment, then you go and price it out, and with taxes $8,700, they're still likely going to pay that. Whereas in the one that's like a straight, if you go over budget, you went over budget. So this grant looks like it's just a no holds bar. They just give you all the money directly to the business. Looks like you have to apply by January 1st. And the winner will be announced by February 1st, 2021. So that's a pretty quick turnaround. And what usually that means is they're looking for something to pop out. It's just something to catch their eye. If they only have a month to review, who knows how many people are going to submit to this, but this is what they're looking for. Record a 3-minute video responding to the question, why did you start your own business? Publish the video to your YouTube channel with the following title, Fundera Zach Grant plus your business name, and then email it to content@fundera.com. from your business email. Please post to all your social networks. So that's really simple for a grant. It is competitive grants. I know I've worked with people that get really bummed with competitive grants. They're like, oh, we got to submit an essay or something like that. But I find that, those ones are a little bit harder to attain than some of those other more walk you through it type grants, more deeper application. But at the same time, these ones also prepare you for your customer base, for your clientele, because it's usually doing something like this is like, why did you start your own business? But I feel like that's a great question, and I kind of wrote down a little bit on it. I'm trying to just go over my notes real quick, and then I'm gonna answer the question.
Well, it ties into what you were saying earlier of distilling your identity, right?
Yeah.
You're even more secure in who you are and what you're doing, and that gives you the confidence to walk in the room and go, I want a grant for this because I'm going to do this with it.
Yep.
And it's a good feeling to have when you have that type of confidence and vision in your own business and what you want to make happen.
I mean, I think that's powerful. So I wrote down like 4 little things, but I'm gonna try to articulate it out right here.
Right.
So this is for the Fundera Zach Grant. Why did you start your own business? And me personally, I started my own business to really let my my qualities shine. I think initially, in a lot of the businesses that I worked within, I always kind of came out as a leader. I often very quickly, was running meetings or talking in meetings or helping out or doing a little bit more than maybe our job description was. That I would often find myself doing that or that just happening because somebody asked me to do something. And then there was always a moment of like, a boss or somebody asking me, but like, oh man, why are you doing so much? Or why are you doing all this? Or what are you trying to get? And I really wasn't trying to get anything. It was just kind of my nature just to do the best, show up early, be the best prepared. I just want to do the best, get the most sales, whatever it might have been. And I found that being a little bit disheartening to me. Like, after it happened once, it might just be, hey, boss, man, I'm just trying to be early, man. But then after it happened, at multiple different jobs or whatever, it's starting to get disheartening. Like, dang, do they really not want me to work hard? Kind of thing like that. What's going on? And I don't think it was any of that. I think it's just about some of the structures, some of the stuff that I was doing or asking questions about wasn't even within the structure for them to answer. So I really, that's what really sparked my mind initially to start my own business. And then when I really started sitting down and thinking about it, the things that I want to gain in my life is not only greater freedom and greater access, but I want to be able to employ others and employ, my family members. I mean, I have 13 first cousins, 2 brothers and sisters, and then other 13 first cousins, they have, I think, 8 kids. And then that's just the first cousins. And I'm familiar with my second, third, and fourth cousins where, we're on a first name basis. So that's just, family reunions start getting, now we're getting 180 people, and that's just on one side. It's just on my dad's side. My mom's side is looking exactly the same. And so when I started thinking about that, okay, well, I want to gain my own freedom. Yeah, I want to kind of let my light shine of, just doing the best and getting that reward, that gratitude for, creating it from scratch. But I also wanted to, for when people did look at me to a leader, I had an answer for them. And I think being an entrepreneur allows that a unique opportunity for you to be able to not only make your own way, but make a way for others, whether it is, even if you're just owning a 7-Eleven but you still got, 2 employees that work at the 7-Eleven, you might even hire another kid to just come in and sweep up, that's impacting these 3 lives that you were not able to impact before, as just, being an employed, type of situation. So I think, really when I look at it, expressing myself to the fullest in my own goals, gaining access to freedom, with economically, obviously, but also just like freedom of my own time. When you're working out of work, you're on a clock, you're tapping into a clock and you're tapping out at a certain time. And sometimes you're going over that time or whatever. And I feel like there's a lot of frustration with your work week. Like Monday's coming too soon. Friday's not coming too soon enough. And I felt like that was a stress. And I do feel like now as an entrepreneur, there's really no days off. I'm pretty much working every day. But if I need to take a pause, 2 hours and go do something with my hands, I can go do that, Woo. And get right back to work, if you know what I'm saying. But so it really came to those three things: freedom and access, letting my light shine fully, and being able to create opportunities for others. And I think that really shows in the type of businesses that, I personally have created. Not only have I, did one-on-one consulting, but I'm also now going in this endeavor to open my own studio. So both of those things, one-on-one consulting is directly helping people with their business and with their vision, helping it come to life, and basically being that person that helps guide them through what they may not know. If you're good at making chairs, I want you to focus on making chairs, and I can kind of help you navigate the rest of the business in that sense. And that's kind of one of my front facing, entrepreneur businesses right there. But then also this studio, something that's in the works right now. But what I'm thinking about it, not only empowering my own as giving a place for people to work, but giving a place where people can let their creativity and their art be able to be displayed. There is definitely intimidation factor of like, oh, I'm gonna go into this bar and ask them if I could perform on the Friday night or something like that. Okay, what if my music doesn't match their vibe? Well, there's a lot of factors going into anything like that, and I feel like having a place that kind of empowers people to be like, yo, we're gonna try to fit your vibe and fit your vision. This is an open space and a blank canvas. That is another reason why I went the studio route. And with my background doing the live events and stuff like that, I just seen a huge need for artists that have the talent but maybe do not have the opportunity or have the guidance. And if I could bring the opportunity and the guidance into one place, you bring your talent, I think that's kind of one of the most rewarding things there is. I'm helping you to help your vision come to life. So just thinking about being an entrepreneur, I just want to kind of build off of my accomplishments that I made so far in terms of like education and I know so much about this, I know so much about that. Sometimes in the job you're doing stuff that you don't really care about, or you don't really, that's not a tool in your toolkit that you wish to improve, but it's part of the job. But as an entrepreneur, man, if I really want to build on my video editing skills, I could invest in myself, take some more classes, get my video editing to where I want it to be, kind of thing like that. And I think that is just really has empowered me. And I think I just think with that being said, this grant would go well, $2,500. I definitely would be able to put it straight towards, my studio space and getting the word out. So I think this type of grant will work well with somebody like me. And I think somebody with my passion and my resolve to really not really give up. I really don't have no give up in me. And it's not even that it's like, oh yeah, this guy just works hard. When he gives up, I just grit my teeth. Not really. I really am pretty much the most happy-go-lucky person when a bad thing happens. I'm like, oh, well, there's, opportunity for a solution type of mindset. And I think being an entrepreneur really allows me to kind of fully flesh that out and kind of do that, on my own time. And so I think this grant will be great. I hope they choose me. You guys should choose me, but, I think just in grants in general, I think these are great opportunities. Just being able to articulate what I just said, go back over it, look at it, maybe add some clips to it. I think that's extremely powerful. Like you were saying too earlier, like establish what your brand is and what you are trying to achieve, and that'll get you that much closer to it.
That has been one of my favorite processes recently, is to get into the details and to allow myself to kind of daydream and contemplate, okay, what does a 4-hour broadcast look like?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be 4 hours? Well, that's kind of where the metrics are the best for streaming. Does that mean I have to be live on camera, being super entertaining every single second of those 4 hours? No.
No, because you can have some pre-cuts.
That's right.
You could film beforehand. Yeah. So, but that's a good question though, and I feel like until you're in it, you're not going to know.
Exactly.
You're not going to know.
Even setting this up, yeah. I had an idea of where stuff's going to go, measuring it out, but not until I was in the thick of it did I know where things were going to be placed.
Yeah.
And that's a fun process because you're discovering. And I always enjoyed that process as an actor where you memorize the script, you're there on stage, you're working with your fellow actors, but you're starting to discover things together. You're starting to discover the truth in the scene.
Yeah.
And how that sorts out. And it's so exciting. It's so exciting, that process, man. That's what I miss the most of not performing, especially with another scene partner, is finding the truth in the scene.
That's actually really crazy. I've only acted one time. I did a lot of like improv classes and stuff like that, and they like always wanted me to like, oh man, you need to just join the drama club and do that. And I was just like, nah, I got so many extracurriculars. It's just like fun class, you know what I'm saying? But I do remember they convinced me to do one it's called a one act. It was just like a one act of a play. We did 3 of them every year. And they convinced me to be like, I think I was like a senator. Like I was like a senator from somewhere, and they were like, this is just so opposite of you. It's going to be perfect or whatever. But in terms of what you're talking about, the truth in the scene. So there was me, and I was definitely considered like the jock guy, 3-sport athlete, really good at, multiple sports, stuff like that. You know, and then I remember there's another guy who was kind of like the same kind of like 3-sport athlete guy, and we were kind of always competing, and people like to pit us against each other. We played into it all the time. But I remember in the acting, we didn't really have, that wasn't really our roles, but we were able to kind of play into that, into, like you're saying, the truth in the scene, and it almost turned into its own scene, because there was like a time where I basically had to come in and put a bill on his desk, and he was being like really goofy about it, and like talking about, you know, like it was kind of like basically talking about the corruption in the politics overall, and I was trying to be like the politician that's trying to do for the people type thing or whatever, and he was just kind of like the, you know, like the super rich politician that was trying to get back to, does it get too many votes, or does it get whatever kind of thing like that. And then I remember there was like one scene where we like, I think the first time we did it, we just got too close to each other or whatever, and we're like kind of doing like a little stare down or whatever, and it was just like, the director was just like, yeah, that was good. And we were like, oh, we didn't, you know, we were just too close, and we kind of just froze up, and then we kind of like tried to make it flow. And he was like, no, I actually like that. It kind of created some tension, you know, and then we could kind of break it with that next line, which is a pretty funny line, kind of thing like that. And then as we did it, that became like a focal point of the whole act, which was kind of crazy. And then I remember on like the final day or whatever, we just held it for like, I think we're just like face to face. Like he says something super stupid, and I say something like, my constituents, da, 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 da. And then we just like are face to face, like super close, like an inch apart. And then I remember once on the last one, I was like, bro, we should just hold it for like 90 seconds. You know what I mean? Just to see. And we like hold it, and then like at first it's like everybody's cracking up. Then they're just like screaming and just cheering, and it was just like so intense. And it was just like, because we were able to find the truth in the scene. I never heard nobody say that before until you just said it. But like that was definitely a real thing, and that was definitely like a moment that I like look forward to. Like, what are we gonna find out today when we do the scenes? Or like, there was all kinds of stuff we were doing, because I remember at the time I had like a crazy afro at the time, and they were like, how about we put gray in it and you look kind of like Don King? That's perfect, like senator guy that's like trying to warn everybody. And it literally
only in America.
It literally was like perfect. And it was just, you know, like you're saying, discovering. And I never knew that about acting or presenting. You know, I ended up doing public speaking, and definitely found out a lot more about that as I went into college and did some stuff in college and stuff like that, even though I've barely done any public speaking since then, which I'm sloughing on. I should probably get back to that. But that's definitely true there. Like, you find the truth in the scene, and it's kind of weird. I don't know. Like,
it's magical.
It's magic. It is.
See, that's what I got my bachelor's degree in.
Yeah,
was how to make that magic happen. And as an actor too, the courses that I took in the program, I also learned makeup, lighting, script writing, voiceover, dialect. It was just all encompassing, all these different classes to put on a great show. And all those different lessons that I've learned, and from every show I've been a part of ever since the age of 5, I've taken something with me that I've learned. And those lessons and that experience has helped me be the best producer that I am right now. I'm still getting better and better.
Yeah.
But to ultimately listen to my own instinct and all of my experience of, is the audience having a good time with this? Is this entertaining?
Yeah.
Do we need to cut this short? And trying to find that right balance. And to put myself in the role of the audience, put myself in the role of the actor, put myself in the role of the lighting technician, so that as a producer, I can think about all these different problems that are going to happen ahead of time and to take care of them or have a backup plan, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
And I can't transplant that into somebody else's brain.
No.
I can't.
You really can't.
I can't.
It's really tough.
Yeah.
You can't even explain it to your boss. I've tried. It doesn't even work. What are you doing this, bro? We're live. And I'm like, don't worry about it. We got this.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You're fired. Oh, well, we got this still. You know, it's tough. It's tough to transplant, and that gets back to the mentorship. Mm-hmm. That gets back to what we're doing with this space and what we're trying to do, you know, in general. I know that 420 event, it's happening.
It's happening. We're doing it.
I actually got some guys that are going to be ready to work, probably for that event too, that we need to chat with.
Sweet.
And then I got another event that's probably going to happen around the spring as well. So we're already locking in events. You know what I mean? We just finished one place. You know, we don't even got the other place finished. So like, the demand is definitely there, people.
All we need for the 420 event that we're lacking right now is putting up a printed backdrop that I can put up against the house, and that's where the stage would be. And if we can't do that in time, then we'll just shoot it in here. But we can book these let's say 4 artists. We're going to get 4 artists. I already have one standing by. She's agreed. She's ready to go. I know the ones that we've worked with, they're going to be 100%, right?
Those are my
So
guys.
I'm pretty sure we've locked in 4.
Yeah.
All we got to do from now until the end of March or mid-April is get them in here to perform and film it and pre-produce it.
Pre-produce it, yeah.
And then on the 420 day, we'll have all of them here. We'll smoke weed, play video games, talk, and have a good time.
Yeah, and have a nice production. Yeah, we need to hit up my guy Nobi.
Yep. Well, guess what? We got pretty much everything hooked up.
Yeah.
So I've measured all of the distances everywhere. You've seen that information as well. So
info.
if we can bring some brands and sponsor into the 420 event,
and that's where this other group is going to come in. You know, they're a weed THC blog, and they're moving up in the ranks. They actually just got ranked, I think, number 8 in all blogs in the United States. You know what I'm saying? And that's going off of straight traffic.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I know these guys, and I know they're, looking for opportunities. And if they don't want to sponsor, they're going to, know all the people at High Times, fucking everybody. And Raw is really cool with them. They've worked with us. They work with us on Hemp Fest, and they were super dope.
Nice. Half the battle is if we just make it ourselves, make the pilot ourselves. That's what people are looking for the most right now. Yeah. Is you can have a pitch, you can have a great pitch, but they're looking for a product. Yes. They're looking for a pilot. Unless you're somebody like James Gunn who's killing it. So he's just like, hey, I want to make this series, and
they
HBO
just
goes
let him do it
straight to series. Not even a pilot. We're giving you the whole thing.
We're giving you the whole thing.
I love it.
But Green Lantern is still in doom. Even though I did see some updates, but we haven't got no good Green Lantern content. Can we get that before we get some Peacekeeper? Can we get that before we get some Peacekeeper?
What if I told you that Green Lantern's gonna be in the Zack Snyder cut?
Wait, how did you get this insider, man? I know that was rumored a long time ago, but get out of here.
What if Ryan Reynolds?
No way. Is going to be in the cut?
What if?
What? That would be filthy. Everybody loves Ryan Reynolds. Like, nobody doesn't like Ryan Reynolds. You know what I mean? The movie was bad, but everybody likes Ryan Reynolds. And also with the Green Lanterns, you can kill him, and you can bring another one in. That's the nicest thing about that.
They have this Green Lantern Core TV show on HBO. They've announced. Hal Jordan's not one of the characters.
Gotcha.
So you got to think. Well, then they're probably somebody else is playing Hal Jordan in a major film. Oh wait, who's already played him? And who's probably the best actor they could choose to fill the role?
Also, who would do it?
Why
at
not?
A moment's notice for not necessarily premium?
And then it would build on top of the entire fourth wall breaking of Deadpool. Anyways,
it would.
It's just a win all around.
Wait, so you have this info? Or are you deducing with your producer detective question skills? Is that what you're going off of right now? I'm confused.
My fanboy private eye detective work, Radar, along with a couple good trips on psilocybin, has been like, you know what? Yeah, to me, I just look at the business, honestly, the full business picture. And I believe Zack Snyder did cast somebody to play Green Lantern.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then they cut it.
They had the trailer that kind of had like the green glow, and everybody was
supposed
like,
to be green glow. Yeah.
What the?
Yeah. We'll see. I just think it would be perfect. It'd be a perfect decision. And if there's one thing that is working out with all his COVID business, with everything getting pushed back, is Zack Snyder is just working on his stuff from home and getting that stuff done. Well, now they're going to do additional shoots, additional photography. I saw they're going to get
$20 million they're putting into it.
Whoa.
So that could be and finish a lot of the CGI. Yeah, which is nice. So now I'm going down rabbit holes. But okay, so I'm thinking about the Justice League, and I'm thinking about the future of DC. It would be pretty filthy as if they finish off Steppenwolf, right? Then Green Lantern comes immediately and is like, Darkseid is coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just that, simple. And even if that all get washed away in Flashpoint, that would still be filthy, because then that leads to the nightmare dream of we still thought we won, and we still, we didn't win. And then now the Flash had to do the whole Flashpoint. He tried to stop in this timeline. That didn't work. All the timelines come together. Boom, we start fresh. We got new Batman. You know what I mean? That could be pretty filthy. And I feel like if you're going to go back and do a Snyder Cut, why not try to clean up some of this?
Yeah.
You know, like of what you were not necessarily like, oh, let's just try to do what the fans want us to do, but more of like, let's just make it more of a cohesive.
Yeah, let's tell the story we originally wanted to tell.
Let's just make it cohesive. You know what I'm saying?
That
could be filthy.
This all goes back to what we were talking about earlier with that artist who had made that song, but it took 3 years for it to get big. I mean, I had issues with Man of Steel and Batman v Superman until I watched them again years later, and I went, "Oh, now I get it."
Cut. It was the director's cut for Batman v Superman.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then watching Justice League after that, I was like, "What? This is all adding up."
Yeah,
I see where you were going with this.
We were so used to that more happy-go-lucky Boy Scout Superman, which we all love. But this was a post 9/11 world, and this is why it was different.
It was actually smart.
It was. At first, I'm like, oh, God, okay, what are we going to do here? It's going to be 15 9/11s with this fight scene with Zod. It was over the top, but the studio was reconciling Superman Returns, which Superman didn't even throw a single punch in that movie.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, we're going to have this big battle at the end. Yeah. The stakes were there. The story's there. I mean, this is Zod.
The story was there.
Like genetically created to defend his people. Yeah. The just the overall implications and the depth really resonated with me better. My biggest pet peeve, my biggest issue was with Jonathan Kent, where I'm like, why is he going to die? He's going to give his son this entire psychosis of him dying. Then I started to realize, oh shit, what if Clark got found out that day, the government came in, took him away,
then Zod wouldn't even work.
And
I mean, he would have came and took everything.
So it's that type of jaded wisdom that as a young man in my late 20s, I didn't understand. Now in my 30s, I'm like, I get what Jonathan Kent meant.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I definitely felt like watching it again or watching it a little bit later kind of like shook it loose.
I would have done something a little bit different with the Martha scene in Batman v Superman. It's still.
I get it though.
It still works.
I get it.
It just could have been delivered a little bit better rather than a kitchen sink being tossed on it. It was just like we are literally tossing the kitchen sink into this, you know.
I mean, Batman was, honestly, too, the Batman, like, the training scene was so filthy. I literally watched that, like, over and over. Like, some of the Batman scenes in Batman vs. Superman are crazy. And then the final battle with everybody.
The warehouse scene.
Filthy.
Mm-hmm. And then the Doomsday scene is good.
The Doomsday scene is amazing. The warehouse scene is amazing. And even the whole time, I remember thinking, like, what? Wonder Woman just doesn't talk. She just comes in and whoops ass. That's it. Yeah. That's kind of filthy.
Zack Snyder has wonderful visuals, and that is his strength. And if he's with a good screenwriter, he can really nail stories. But because of the trepidation audience felt with Batman v Superman that the studio screwed up in the first place, it just became this whole, we have to rectify the situation with Zack Snyder and the Jeff Johns debacle with Joss Whedon. It really fucked up, man, what had happened. You know?
I feel like full committal is key.
Yep.
Because I feel like they felt like, oh, maybe the Lex Luthor wasn't the right way. And I feel like the Lex Luthor was cool. Like, even I feel what people could have felt of but I felt like I seen where they were going because he has to be like crazy first before he can be the smooth
especially
Lex Luthor. I thought it was perfect.
Especially with how Facebook is today, with all the evidence showing the debauchery they've been up to. It's like, oh, this is at first I'm like, no, it should have been Mark Strong. It should have been somebody intimidating and older. It's like, no, it's a conniving.
Yeah, it has to be like kind of a, you don't expect him. And then even when they had the little after credit scene with him and like Deathstroke, and you see him bald, he's out of prison. Yeah. Whoa, this is now getting into.
That's the Lex I want to see.
Yeah, he's growing into it. Exactly.
Like he hates who Superman is because Lex Luthor can never be him.
Exactly.
And so he's trying to tear him down.
And he has to be the antithesis to it. He can't be like. I mean, he can be, but I feel like what you're saying with Facebook and how this world is, some of the big players are the geekiest guys, you know what I'm saying? Like the biggest money players are geeky guys. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it has to kind of come off. I feel like it has to be a little bit more antithesis than to be like, oh, we should have had The Rock play Lex Luthor. You know what I mean? Like, not saying that people said that, but you know what I mean? Like we didn't need the strong, even though that's how it was back in the animated series, he was like pretty much the same stature as Superman and he was like even smoother and like kind of kept him frazzled.
He was trying to be the perfect man. In a way, you know.
And I get that, but the paradigm has changed. So I thought at first I definitely was with everybody like, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? But then watching Deluxe and seeing how he pit everybody against each other, and the whole time he was a nice guy. He didn't say nothing. You know, he never even like called nobody evil. He never really talked down to nobody. He was cool. Oh, you working with me? Here's some Skittles or whatever he gave the guy, some Jolly Ranchers. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like just like slick with it. Like, oh yeah, I got this bill passed right here. Oh yeah, we already got that on the way. Don't worry. Yeah. Oh yeah, the shipment of kryptonite, it's already booked.
He was ruthless, dude. He killed Mercy. You know, his second in command. Yeah. He took her out. And dude, the biggest moment in Batman v Superman that I was besides myself when I saw it in theaters is when the wheelchair blows up in the state capitol.
Yeah.
The Capitol building for the whole nation during the hearings.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Superman would have saw, like he would have heard a tick or something.
But then
and then in the director's cut,
they talk about the lead.
They talk about the lead
and how that was set up. Yeah.
Lois
they don't really
was, and they cut that. I'm like, dude. Like one of the biggest, like I couldn't even like trust the Superman on watching. Like, what is the Superman doing? It's like he's not paying attention, and then you realize it's because of the Lex manipulations, and that's what's really infuriating when you have that story and that stuff makes sense, but when you start to take it away just to get the runtime right. You're killing the movie. You're killing the semblance of what we have here.
Did you see the little boy? The boys nodded to that exact scene with the Vogelbaum coming in, but then everybody's head blowing up. But then Homelander being like, "What the hell is going on?"
His face was perfect because it was a bit of surprise, but also slightly amused.
Yeah,
he's just like, "Well, I'm a hero, so this can't hurt me." And then Ashley's like, "Come on and do something," you know. That's
but also too, I'm a hero. This can't hurt me. I don't really understand how those powers work. You know what I'm saying? Am I creating, pressure in your brain and then blowing up from there? You know what I'm saying? Is it I'm just doing it with brains because that's an easy thing, but I could do it with everything? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I thought that was, I've been loving The Boys, but I thought that was dope little commentary on that other scene, because even though it pretty much was executed almost exactly like the Superman scene, it had a lot different. I don't know. It was like a little bit more. I mean, it was the same thing. Bad guys are losing because they needed that court thing to kind of go on record. I feel like that one, the Superman one, gave us a little bit more guilt. On this one, we almost were just like, what the fuck's going to happen now? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the Superman was more of the question being posed of how do we handle a Superman? Like what? How do we do this? And we need to talk. We need to figure this out.
Which is kind of what that question was with Vought. How do we handle Vought? The supers are out. Yeah. What the hell is going on? They're just, there's just needling people. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get the ex-CEO. I know it was against his will, but they don't know that. It's coming in here. He's going to just, he was going to lay it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They were going to have that was crazy.
Have you finished The Boys?
Yeah. I'm on it, man. That was hilarious.
I've gone back and watched that scene knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
And it lines up. Like,
yeah.
That person makes eye contact with everybody who's
nice. I didn't look for that, but I already knew. I was like, wow, I wasn't even paying attention.
I didn't see that comment at all.
No, I didn't. And have you read any of the comics by chance? Because I've read the whole thing.
I'm familiar with
comics. Is crazy.
I'm familiar with story beats.
Yeah.
Like I know the difference between Rebecca, like what happens in the comics versus what happens in the show. So some of those things, like how it all ends and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I'll say that is because the lady's name is Victoria Newman, and there's a Victor Newman in the comics that's like a main character.
Yeah.
So it's a gender swap, but it's also like in the comics, Vic Newman is the vice president. He works for Vought. The president doesn't fuck with Vought, but he is like also like an idiot. Like he's
a useful idiot type.
Yeah,
thing.
He's like a
dummy.
useful idiot. You know what I'm saying?
But in the comics,
this one, well, keep going.
Well, in the comics, when 9/11 happens in the comics, Vic, the vice president, knocks out the president and tells the staff members, "We're not going to attack the second plane. The heroes are going to take care of it."
Yeah.
But then they bungle it.
Yeah,
they lose a hero. They screw it up. So instead of doing 9/11, the show did the airplane thing,
which I thought that was a really good.
I've enjoyed the changes that they've made because they've made smart, mature.
Yeah. I think the Homelander. Damn, what's the lady that like handles Homelander that he killed in the first season? Because she was a huge character in the comics, and it was
the boss.
Male, and it was a male.
She's played by Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah. I forget what her name. But switching that, I thought made sense because in the comics it almost doesn't make sense. Like, why doesn't he kill this guy? Like in the whole comic, you're like, bro, why doesn't he just kill this guy? You know what I'm saying? This guy's like telling him what to do, kind of giving him attitude, but making it a female, then also giving them like a little what's it called? All that, her telling him what to do and giving him attitude. It makes it makes more sense, I think, in the show than in the comic why he doesn't just kill everybody, because you could tell his weakness is the people, what the people think of him a little bit more. In the comics, that was clearly stated, but it didn't always make sense, if that made any sense. Like, he would do something wild and off the chain, and then the one dude would be like, come here, and he would like come and like be straight puppy doggy. That almost made more sense from like the female position and like the psychosis that they kind of have him in, of like, I don't have any parents, this is my parent, oh my gosh, she lied to me, this is the worst thing she could have done to me. You know what I mean? Like that kind of
the mother complex.
The mother complex, I thought, was a little bit deeper of a way to do it. But what I'm thinking of, the reason why I brought up the Vic the Veep, that's what they call him in what's called Vic the Veep, versus Victoria Newman is, you know what I'm saying, she has to be tied to Vought in some way.
Oh yeah.
And if that's the case, did they want all this to happen just like it happened? Because in the comics, they actually line up the boys and them to fight, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, well, I from the showrunner,
because they're just trying to get rid of the superheroes and get rid of the boys. Like, get rid of the Homelander, who's a problem, and get rid of the boys. Let's just have them fight and see who kills themselves. Like who gets wiped out. Then we'll deal with that. They kind of set that up a little. It doesn't work, but they kind of set that up a little bit more, and I'm wondering if that's where she's going to be kind of play into a little bit more of like setting them up to conflict, or if maybe Vought has been set and maybe they set up that Stormfront confrontation and all that, because that's kind of how it is in the comics a little bit more. They set up a lot more or whatever. Like basically, like you'll see a scene in the boys are fighting and the superheroes or something's happening, and then there's always like a little like blurb that's like, this is going well. You know what I'm saying? Or like, sir, we didn't expect this person to get killed, and it's like, don't worry about it, that's within the casualty percentage. You just see like that's how they run the storyline. Like, they're watching all this play out. And if you think about some of this stuff that happened in season 2, how the hell did fucking Butcher just get inside the fucking 60-foot wall that's completely bugged? You know what I mean? The fake city. How the hell he just get in there and get out? And then they didn't know until Black Noir went into that. To me, that makes me think maybe Vought was like, yo, we're losing control. Let's let this play out a little bit. See if these guys who do want to bring us down, but their focus is on superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to bring us down, but they're not showing up to our houses. You know what I'm saying? They're focused on Homelander and stuff. So let's keep them focused on that. Let's let Butcher come in and see what happens with the kid, because they were even saying, hey, we don't really know. You know, like when the mom was coming at them like, yo, he's here now. I thought that was the whole deal, is that he doesn't know about the kid and all that stuff. And they're like, yeah, well, we're just going to let this play out. That was their whole thing. So they were watching all that. So I'm thinking in my head, so that means they must have been, so somebody was watching Booker just walk into there. You know what I'm saying? And then some of the other stuff and Starlight and stuff, she didn't get her chip taken out till like the end of the season. So I'm thinking like they knew where she was at. So it's like maybe they were trying to play them against each other to try to like sift through this, to help them sift through this crisis that they were having with the Compound V.
Well, yeah, because Homelander is what created the crisis at season 1 by giving it to the terrorists and creating supervillains.
Exactly. They didn't want to do that, and they didn't want to move in that direct. They didn't want to move that quickly to put them in the military. They wanted to move a little bit more. Like get some laws passed. They still haven't, I don't think they still really got the laws passed that they really wanted.
They were close.
They were really close. Like they were in the military, but they didn't really get the law change. It was kind of just like a, you know, we're just doing this for a limited time thing. And then now they brought in Victoria Newman to head the superhero oversight team or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm thinking, well, if she's in charge of the oversight team, she sounds like she's in charge of superheroes.
Yeah, what better way to keep tabs on what's happening in the government than to have somebody who, you know, is loyal to Vought that's in charge of that stuff. Exactly. So I'm intrigued. I was a bit surprised where this season went to, but
I was shocked.
My goodness, the acting, dude.
The acting
especially
is
from
wonderful.
Carl Urban and Anthony Starr.
Carl Urban is
Butcher.
Going crazy. Carl Urban he's also, Homelander, his acting is, because I really feel like he's crazy. And I really also feel like he also believes all the like, I don't know, he like believes that he's a superhero, but at the same time he is playing the game. But like he like really like, I don't know, like I do get the feeling that he like needs to be Homelander, if that makes any sense.
Well, that's all he's got.
That's all he has.
You know, and
I just feel like that's a tough acting job to do.
And to see more of the depth when he was speaking to Ryan, his son.
Yeah.
And he was telling Ryan, I didn't have anybody to teach me how to fly or to use these powers. I was all my own. It was just, you know.
Yeah.
He was about to say scientists. He was like the people that raised me.
I know.
And that
he seemed cool. He was almost like, oh,
that's someone where you're
Homelander.
like, oh man, like you feel for him. You know,
and they were doing the juxtaposition of his dad to Carl Urban. I mean, to Butcher's dad as
Vogelbaum,
well, because Vogelbaum is the same, pretty much treated the same as. And we see, and you even see Butcher hit that look on his face when after his wife dies. That look on his face. I don't know what act. I don't know what the hell they had to do to him or whatever. But that looked like it was straight out of the comic. Because there's like a moment in the comic where he just like his eyes literally go black. And he's just looking like, I'm about to kill everybody or whatever. And that was crazy. And then have the kids still go to him, and he has to be like, oh, shit. You know, am I the bad guy or am I the good guy? Even though I was actually thinking about, like, he can't beat that kid with no crowbar. That's not going to work.
Well, that...
You know what I'm saying? I was like, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
You're about to get fucked up.
Yeah. The way that was shot.
That was so good.
It was almost like Lord of the Rings level. You know?
It was.
I kind of got that vibe.
I got all Lord of the Rings vibes.
You're watching Ryan, and he's just slowly walking over to Butcher.
But he was still looking crazy, like he was about to kill him, and then he was like, "Oh fuck, I'm the only good guy here."
Made a promise to his wife, you know. Shit, and then the perfection at the end of what did I tell you? Don't be a cunt.
That was so funny.
Good lad.
I thought he was gonna
give
him the dog. That's what I was thought. I thought because the dog is a lot bigger character in the comic. The dog is with him the whole time. Yeah. And like halfway fighting.
I think the dog will be now because Ryan's going to be with the CIA, and I don't know. I hope the end of the show is Ryan's a teenager and he's the one who takes down Homelander. Would be kind of neat because I know what happens at the end of The Boys for those that read the comics. But that's why I'm excited for the show is there are some things that'll be the same as the comics, some things that'll be slightly changed.
I think at this point they should throw the comics out the door.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys built it right.
But all of it has felt right. And I say that, though, with a grain of salt because I wasn't exposed to the comics at first compared to other people who may be like, oh, this is my favorite comic. Yeah. And when they see these changes, they're like, oh, they're changing too much. I haven't heard any of those complaints, though.
Yeah.
From people.
No.
They feel no, this is amazing to see this on camera.
I read the comic. I hadn't finished it before I started it, but as soon as I started the first episode, I was like, okay, let me finish this comic because they're about to get into it. And I just don't. The changes that they made weren't in places that I don't know. They didn't really matter. I mean,
like even the Stormfront gender swap, totally worked.
Totally worked.
It was
at first I was pretty confused, but it totally worked. Yeah. And I think also too there are quite a bit of elements and story beats that they can still hit in season 3. But I think in terms of like the ultimate climax, we got to go Game of Thrones here. We got to be totally different than maybe what the book lays out, just because of what I feel like their world is a little bit different. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And what the foundation that they led has been what's called. But we're about to get Soldier Boy.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Jensen Ackles.
We're going to get Soldier Boy in the next season. I think we might get Tech Knight.
Oh, cool.
So and also in the comics, they have the Justice League and the Avengers and the X-Men. And I feel like maybe that's what the season 3 will get into. Like, the Vought has other teams. The 7 is their best team. Yeah. And that's like the Justice League. But they have other teams, and that's where Stormfront came from. And that played into them playing everybody against each other. They basically were like, yo, Stormfront's team is basically out of control. Let's have them go against the boys, see how many we can kill. You know, we have this like casualty meter that were acceptable. And basically, like, they were using the boys, basically. Yeah. Vought was using them to, like, kind of clean up some dirty stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Eric Kripke,
they were using everybody. You know what I'm saying?
The showrunner said that season 3, the boys will then officially be on the CIA team like they are in the comics. Yeah. So it felt like this season 1 and 2 was to really do all the heavy lifting to introduce this world and these characters.
Yeah. And it was a lot.
That crazy. It was like season 1 was a crazy roller coaster. Season 2 is the ramifications of the roller coaster. Mm-hmm. Now a lot of stuff's been cleaned up, but a lot more questions are being asked. Yeah. So they really rolled out an awesome.
I think they did it great. And if you even think about the teams, I'm just so deep in the book. But if I think about how the team was, how they're just now rolling into the CIA, like you're saying, it was kind of a reverse in the books. It was like they were in the CIA heavy in the beginning. They kind of fell off because of Frenchie's little thing. You know what I'm saying? They fell off. Like they were like, what the fuck? Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Then they had to come back together. Mallory was completely gone. And then she jumped back in, and it was like a what's called. In this one, I feel like they almost deconstructed it or done it in like a reverse way, which I think works a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Because like even with Mallory specifically, like basically in the comics, that happens at the end. Mallory coming back happens at the end, but this one they kind of wove it through the whole thing. She was pretty much around.
I like her.
Yeah,
I like that actress.
Oh man,
a lot,
she's
dude.
killing it. She gives you that stoic like I'm in charge, but at the same time I'm way smarter than you, so I don't even know why you would even say anything right now. You know what I mean? Like she gives a great vibe.
And also the vulnerability that she has when she saw Lamplighter again. And she's like, I thought I was past this, but and you just see all of her emotions, and she's trying to keep coming.
She seems like she'd be a filthy CIA like leader lady.
I marvel at her acting ability. I wish I knew the actor's name, but
killing it.
I think of her for this one character in the Question script that I have. This no nonsense.
Yeah.
Like cut through the BS, grizzled city officiator.
Like a cop, officiator, investigator. They could come in like a lady like her and the way she's acted. She come in and say she's anything and you're going to be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She can say your first grade teacher. Oh shit, my first grade teacher's here. You know what I'm saying? Like she comes with some good energy. I love it.
Yeah. Like especially for a DA, district attorney type character. But the thread would be...
Bro, the question, how are you going to get that mask? I mean, you could definitely CGI it, but I'm just trying to think of a dope way to make it filthy.
I've done scar wax and made myself into Voldemort before by flattening out the nose, but I haven't done anything that would take out the eyes and the mouth. I think about the makeup design and the use of that character in Dick Tracy, though, the one that Madonna played, because it's a covered face, but it has a little hole for the mouth to talk.
Yeah.
Something like that, I mean, to film it live, but if we can't do it live, then we'll put it in a comic book and we can draw it. But that's the element that would require a little bit of trickery. But I think if I did shoot
you could also shoot it tricky as well. You know what I'm
use
saying?
shadows.
Maybe, like use there's always a shadow, or we just don't ever really show your face.
You
Almost
just
like
use shadows until the end, then you see the face, and the guy freaks out.
Almost like who was the character on Powerpuff Girls that you just never saw their face? The lady, the assistant. Do you remember her?
Damn,
the super hot assistant,
cut.
Or even there's another one. I feel like there's been a couple like old cartoons where they would always have a character where they didn't like their face. Do you remember the Proud Family? Wizard Kelly? They would never show his face. He was like too tall for the screen. I think that's a cool. I mean, not necessarily like put you to it, but like always shoot from the back. Always shoot so there's like a long shadow over his face. Have other people talk about it like. Have you ever seen his face? You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. Well, and kind of build it up like that could be filthy.
The short film concept is the Question has taken a break for 2-3 years. Mm-hmm. He and this DA or this official were able to clean up some white collar crime and take down kind of like an Epstein case, take down a couple people. But they realized that it opened up so much stuff that it may take too long to really get all the justice that they want, and so they had to make a deal, and then the deal was the Question had to stop for a couple years type of shit, but he wanted to take a vacation.
Okay, that's gotta feel
but he went to the Amazon, he went on these psychedelic trips, and he's realizing that these weeds are growing back, and that's what she's coming to tell him.
And he's almost even more like paranoid, like paranoid conspiracy. What's going on? All I know is if you do this and you need to meet up with a drug dealer in an alley, can I please be the drug dealer or the arms dealer or something? I'm trying to be in this, and I'm trying to just be the most thuggerish dude.
Have you ever
I'll get the face tap. I don't care. God, I just feel like I just need to be in there. What you need?
Have you ever seen Gone Baby Gone?
Yeah, I think I have.
Ben Affleck.
It's not.
Directed.
I've seen it. I've seen it, but it's not. I'm not remembering those scenes.
Just a bit of, because it's about a girl who gets kidnapped. They can't find her, and he starts to go into that world of all that crazy shit. It's a bit of that. He had to take a break because of the shit that he saw, but now he's like, I'm ready to come in and take out these weeds. Yeah. So she
could be filthy.
She comes and she
so that Mallory character would be like the DA coming. Yep, and telling
she shows up to the Question's house.
Basically, like it's not. We didn't do shit.
And she goes, I hope you had a nice, lovely time, but we have something just fell into NASCAR laps, and the allegory is him weeding in the front garden. And after they talk, and she gives him coffee and something, she's like, "These fuckers are just like weeds. If we don't pull them up, they're gonna take over."
Yeah.
And so he looks at the files and realizes that she has the assistant mayor downtown locked up because they caught him with an underage person.
Wow.
And now the question is, do we open this up and the whole city's going to suffer because it's going to expose so much corruption, or do we lay it low?
Yeah,
and that's the juxtaposition.
Yeah,
and
she's basically giving it to him because he's off the books guy.
Mm-hmm. He's the off the books guy. So
we need the off the books guy to look into this.
She can't do it officially because it's gonna destroy what they built. It's gonna destroy the deal that they made. But innocent people are getting hurt. Somebody has to deal with it. And in order to cut through the bullshit, he uses psychedelics to not just for him to pinpoint stuff, but he'll blow DMT into somebody's face and just ask them questions.
That's actually pretty genius.
Yeah, he's like, it's like, oh, you can't do that. It's against their will. It's like somebody's life's on the line, and then it's almost like a lie detector.
Yeah.
But he's able to see if they're lying or not. It's kind of.
I don't know if you're lying. I've been on some trips. I don't think I can lie.
Yeah. But it's a more of that visual aura, deeper consciousness,
and you can make some dope visuals to
even in a comic or visually
in real
here,
life, and make it simple. When he blows it out, be like some purpley, kind of fucking poison ivy looking shit.
Exactly, and he can talk to Poison Ivy and get some stuff if he needs it. He can tap into the universe.
The colors of the scene could change. All of a sudden, they're just instantly black and white, or black and white where the question is like super purple.
Or somebody has a vision of the Batman and they're freaked out.
And they're freaking out.
The core of this is the question. He can fight, but he's a great fighter. He's been trained. I'm going off the classic question, but he's using his intellect and
that's the question.
Shaman skill, all this stuff to fight white collar crime, not to beat up dudes in the street who are starving and they need to.
But start the crime where fucking just recently there was a dude that's CEO of a payment processor, and over $1 billion cannot be accounted for in this payment processor.
Yeah.
So that means it was received and never got to its What the CEO does? He just resigns and keeps it moving.
Yep.
He's out. He doesn't. There's no legal nothing that happens to him. Nothing. You know what I mean? Like. And they are going to kill you over $20 at the gas station. But they're not even, like, what should we do to him? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If we want to keep that relatively, his whole family, everybody should be wiped out.
And you see...
Talking about billions.
You see a glimmer of this sometimes with some of the Congress people that we have, that they grill the head of the bank and whatnot, and they detail for them, your employees can't even function. They can't even live off of what you're paying them. Yeah. And all that person goes, oh, I don't even know, blah, blah, blah. And then they get paid a fine, and then they're off scot-free.
Wells Fargo just paid a fine.
Just paid a fine.
After having, what they call them, like black loans or something like that they only gave to black people and Mexican people, that they were just like completely not what their credit or whatever deserved, but it was allowing the bank to get a little bit more money, and that was in their training manuals. Just get them a fine and keep it moving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Stealing money from their customers, get a fine and keep it moving. Rebrand. Just rebrand.
Yep.
Just rebrand.
So I want a hero that cuts through that bullshit and uses psychedelics, because the ultimate bullshit of this entire system is the war on drugs. That is the core heart of the rot of the police. And I talked to a retired police officer yesterday about this, and he completely agreed. He said the war on drugs turned bullies and turned cops into bullies and militarized the police.
Yeah.
If we can stop that, and that's what he hopes to expose through this story, or I hope to detail at least, is what these drugs can do and how some are addictive and can harm you. Others are used as a medicine that can edify your life and make you a better person, like they have for me.
Hey, so. I mean, shoot. The only hap I have on drugs is the age at which you start. I feel like has a lot of effect.
I started at 26, really.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't start till 21. You know what I'm saying? I was real. But I was around it, and I was which some people might think is like negative, more around like the potential criminal element. You don't want to put yourself in those situations if you're not really about that action or whatever. And I definitely was around it just because everybody around me was around it. But it just was like, I don't know. I feel like when you're able to come into it as a fully fledged adult, it's just the appreciation. It's not just like, I'm just doing this for fun. It's like, yo, I'm trying to get somewhere.
That's when your brain is better developed for it too, especially with cannabis. They say you should wait until 24, 25, 26.
Yeah, because your brain's not developed.
Not fully developed, yeah. So, you do what's best for you, but, I'm an advocate for waiting till your 20s to really experiment with this stuff because your body's still growing.
I'm an advocate of taking anybody that wants to try it. So if you're like a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, and you came to me or you were like, yo, cousin, what is this like? I'm an advocate of telling them the exact truth. Yeah. If they're going to do it, let's do it together.
Tell them the truth.
You know what I'm saying? I'd rather you do it with me. I remember that's how I felt with my sister. You know what I mean? I'm like 4 years older than her. So I freaking, so I'm drinking and doing shit. She's still in high school. And I felt like she just was, I remember it just felt like there was so much buildup that she wanted to do it so bad. I was like, yo, let's just do it together so you like can gauge how you can get drunk and all that stuff like eating and stuff. Something that nobody tells you until you're just too wasted.
Yeah.
Like, let's just do that all together, even if you are a little bit underweight. And I remember my brother, he was like 14 at the time. He was like, I'm just left out, you motherfuckers is drinking. And I was just like, yo, come on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather you guys do it with me than try to sneak it and do it somewhere else. That's going to put you in a dangerous situation.
And I like being that person. I like being that or having that shaman role. When I did the ayahuasca trip, wonderful experience, as I've shared before. Totally do it again when we were past this COVID stuff. But I was able to smoke some DMT through a vape pen at a friend of mine's house, and he had another friend there that had never done it.
Through the vape pen?
Yeah. So I was able to guide him through. I said, okay, you're going to take 4 hits. This is what I experienced my first time. You may hear some crackling noises. But, dude, he loved it. He loved the entire experience. And myself and my friend Matt, we were like, this is great. It was a great bonding moment. But it's because somebody was there to guide you, be like, here's what to expect. And the beauty about that is you come back 15 minutes, you're totally sober.
Yeah.
You're not going to be...
The DMT is in and out.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get my hands on some more here to have some fun firesides by the campfire and smoke, which I'm looking forward to. But it's that type of education that if I could be able to express that in a story visually, be it a comic book or a show or a trailer or whatever, I feel 100% authentic telling that story. And what's even more beautiful about the question and the history that I did about him is he was a conservative. He was a Steve Ditko, Ayn Rand type of straight A conservative where A is A, right? I used to think that way when I was 19.
So you're living...
Until I changed my ways and was exposed to all sorts of different people and learned all sorts of different different walks of life.
I definitely feel you on that being able to express that or teach that through a medium of media or just a story.
Yeah. I mean it's like taking taking this whirlwind, all of these issues and things that you feel you have a voice that should cut through the static because you've lived it. You've lived this life.
Yeah.
So if I sit in a room across from a publisher at DC and they say, why do you want to focus on the question? But like, I've lived the question. I used to think that way until I had a complete
That's a good point.
Convergence.
And you had to question that thing. You were like completely surrounded. I always think about that. Like, I definitely was really, really very religious coming up as well. And, you know what I mean? Not to say that I'm like less, because I do feel like I have the same spiritual height. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It might be a lot more broad, though.
Yeah.
But in my experience, everybody I was around was very open and welcoming to other religions, even though if that wasn't maybe what the normal was, that's what they was on. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Grandfather was real open, would tell me to go to a mosque, and we're coming from Baptist church, tell me to go to a mosque and then ask me about it after. I think that was the key thing. If they would just be like, yo, your friend asked you to go with them, just go, just let me go with them. But they would always ask me about it after.
It sounds like being a good American. Be like, hey, this is in your neighborhood. Go see what it's all about. Go be a neighbor.
Yeah. It was more like for me, it was like I just wanted to be around my friends, but I had friends that from school that might have been a different like religion. And if I'm sleeping over on the weekend, I want to respect what they do on their Sundays or their Saturdays or whatever. And my parents also really wanted to respect that. So they would sometimes even have those conversations. Hey, does he need certain types of clothes? Do you guys go to like the Catholic church or something like that? Do we need to go over it with them or whatever beforehand real quick? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like 7 or 8, so I'm just doing whatever I got to do. All right, Ishmael, when you go over there, you know what I mean? Like, do this. I'm just doing whatever I can do to hang out with my buddy, you know, spend at his house.
Yeah, I did that growing up with a friend of mine, Craig, my best friend growing up, and they went to a Lutheran church on Sundays. And that was, I think, the first time I ever set foot in a church was going to church with him and his family.
Yeah.
And I remember the hymns, the pews. It definitely was a peaceful, serene experience. I enjoyed it. But again, I was like 6. You know, how many other places have I been to in my life?
Yeah.
I
was really young in this story too.
Just the concepts, the structure, the familial, the social.
Wonderful.
It's wonderful because that is part of our DNA as humans.
Yes.
We have to have that. That's how we stay healthy. And I feeling kind of ripped away or isolated from that, leaving religion, which was that's how they keep you in, is you stay social, is difficult. And looking for that type of community is difficult for a lot of people when they leave a group like that, or they realize that their viewpoint on life wasn't true, or it wasn't for them. And it can be a very vulnerable spot. Very vulnerable.
Yeah. I think also too now, specifically now, and actually this might have been the same way when Jesus was around, now that I think about it, but I feel like when it's on such a, I feel like your spirituality is such a personal thing, but I feel like sometimes there's a little bit of like, I don't even know if I'll say loss, but like there's like a little bit of like sanctity that other people don't have for it. Like when they're basically telling you how you should be as a Christian or something like that. It's like, well, you're not even doing the basic Christian thing to respect my boundaries. It's like a basic thing, or a basic, Muslim thing, or a basic Buddhist. You know what I'm saying? You're not even initiating. And I feel like additionally too, that's why I said like could have been going on Jesus' time too. But like there's like a celebrityism and like a egoism of like the pastor or the priest or the pope or that stuff. I honestly feel like that to me is like a really big like turn off. You know what I'm saying? And it's also a really, really big like
a mediator between you and
like what? A mediator for what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't say nothing about no mediator in here nowhere. Literally. You know what I'm saying? Almost all things, like it's always about you and your connection. And I feel like the mediator, and I feel like that is tough because I feel like now, and that's why I say like could have been like this when Jesus was around, and could have, because I bet you Jesus was not. I bet you was pretty polarizing. I bet you niggas in Jerusalem bring up Jesus and they're like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like just like everybody else, just like how Martin Luther King or Gandhi or whoever, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like now though, I feel like people tie their ego, you know what I'm saying, to something even before they even like fully like flush it out. So they're like speaking stuff that they're not about.
Yeah.
And I feel like to me that like really like hurts my head.
Well, that's what will break people with their doctrine. I mean, look at have you been watching The Vow, the show on HBO? Mm-mm. So that's about the Nixium cult out of Canada that Allison Mack was a part of from Smallville, where they branded the women on the inside of their thighs.
I remember her; she was a part of something.
Yeah, so this is a documentary about it. I think the last episode is this Sunday, or maybe there's one more after, but it's a 9-episode series. And as somebody who survived a cult as well, the fascinating parts about it are the similarities of you think you're improving yourself. It's about improvement, self-improvement, or getting closer to God or a higher power that you worship, or learning more about the scriptures. But it's within these set rules, and more rules are introduced, and something that your instinct tells you, wait, this is off, this is wrong, this isn't right. But then the mediator or the officiators of the religion or the sect or the cult are telling you, oh no, you have to overcome that. That's your weakness. Yeah. Your instinct is part of who you are DNA-wise.
To me, that also emphasizes that anything is possible. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like he's convincing you that this is this way, just like you might convince yourself that a snake is scary or something like that. I cannot step over that snake. It's scary, but you could also convince yourself to like step over it. And so I see where that kind of plays in. That mediator person is telling you, but that's reinforcing it. That's one thing that I think about a lot, or I feel like when I was 12, I thought about like, do I just like God because they told me to like God? I thought about that all the time.
Do I like God just because I don't want to go to hell?
Yeah, exactly. But then I feel like when I brought that to the people around me, they were like, I also think like that. Whereas I feel like there's an ego-y thing that happens in the most people's experience with it, where they're just like you're saying, they're just telling you, well, you got to overcome that. That's wrong.
You got to have faith.
Yeah. They're telling you like that's what you're thinking right there is wrong. So they're basically telling you are like wrong I think that's where that moment happens when you're like, what?
But that's the difficulty of worshiping a being, worshiping anything that's 2,000 years old or plus, right?
100%.
Because technically, according to the scriptures, both New Testament and Old Testament, homosexuality is a sin.
Yeah.
A sin that is worthy of death.
Worthy of death. But also, too, almost all sins are about worthy of death.
Just about. Adultery, all that stuff, right? But I use that as an example because of how much horrible contention and the way people have been treated over the years because of it, right? Yeah. Where today, if you were to ask a mainstream Christian, hey, how many gay people have you stoned? They'd be like, what? Yeah, I would never do that. It's terrible.
Exactly.
Well, then why do you worship a being that commanded that, even if it was 2,000 years ago? And that's the double think tough standard.
Yeah, why?
Because
also, too, why would you worship a being that says, do not worship me? But you're 100%. It's a double. It's a cognitive dissonance.
It's tough because I had a lot of anger. I still have anger issues with any type of religion because of what I went through. But after sifting what I've gone through, I've directed my anger to the older leaders during my time that I was in the religion who were like 70, 80, 90.
Yeah.
And there's more documentations coming out that they knew the truth that this stuff wasn't real.
Yeah.
And that's where I can focus my anger to, right? Because their influence, their words have influenced millions of people to make these type of decisions, doctrinal decisions about their lives. Yeah. And that to me is very grievous and wrong.
And how other people making those decisions feeds your success in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you also have a stake in it outside of your religious conviction that is outwardly very evident.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Humans are malleable. And this is why it goes back to the Industrial Revolution, right? Yeah. You've left your country for this religion, which happened with the Mormon faith and many faiths in the early days of America, and how much that just took away the roots of that type of familial helping each other, right? And when you were talking about all of your cousins and working together and your family working together, I have one niece, right? And if I have kids or not, I keep her in my thoughts to be like, okay, when's her birthday coming up? She's starting to get old enough to appreciate that I remember her birthday and Christmas and stuff like that. That to me is taking care of the next generation. That to me is I can be the uncle, be the mentor. Do you think that we can still hold on to these bonds and this growth even with our distance? Or is this distance just too much? Is it too taxing on a family?
I feel like the distance is a lot. I honestly feel like the distance is a lot. I feel like that's a great question. I also have the goddaughter that lives on like the east side of the mountains. Not crazy far, but like it's still like you're just not making it that way that often. You know what I'm saying? And what's been really tough is with the COVID, now we're not visiting at all. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that makes it really tough. And I do feel like, especially with the young, malleable kids, I feel like being there, like you're saying, remembering their birthday, just being around is 99% of the battle. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to have no special program that you're doing with your niece or something like that. Not that those things aren't wonderful, and that shows intent. And you as a what's called having intent, if you got passion for that, I think everybody should actually just take some time for that anyway. It's going to be cathartic at least.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And also, too, trying to teach anybody anything is the most, not only rewarding, but is the most clear way to master something. If you really, you know what I'm saying? If you like, so like one thing, my dad is a real, and I've only ran into this with like one other person's family. My dad is a real, like, try it. Like, try it and see, like, if the little kid can get it. And if he can get it, let's get it for him. You know what I mean? Or, like, is he interested in this? Like, put some Legos in front of him. See if he starts putting them together. If he starts putting them together, okay, now he's about to be on Legos. Or, like, put, like, a little RC car. Does he get it? Put the guitar in his hand. See what happens. Like, he literally does it with kids all the time. Like, when cousins will come over there, like, 9 or 10, he'll be like, hey, put the guitar, see what happens. Literally. And he's like, the ones that catch a tune, we need to just keep giving them tunes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or like my other cousin, like he said, oh yeah, he was like, oh yeah, P. He was like, P's like 9, and he gets into quite a bit of trouble. But But like he was like, oh, he pulled out your old skateboard out of my stuff, and he's like out there using it. He seemed like he was pretty balanced on it. So I just like let him use it. And I was like, okay, cool. I like went out there and he's like pretty balanced on it. He's like, yeah, he was like, yeah, this is a skateboard, but what kind of skateboard? And I was like, it's just like I tell him the deck or whatever. He doesn't know whether that's a thing or not. I don't even know why he asked me. And then he was just like, what do I even do on this or whatever? And I was like, man, you just got to do an ollie. Then you could do a whole bunch of tricks. You know what I'm saying? I show him how to do an ollie real quick or whatever. 3 or 4 weeks later, this dude literally is like, hey, Ish, and literally like goes down the little freaking driveway and does a heel flip. And I was like, he was like, look. And I was just like, what was that? He was like, I don't even know. I just been working on stuff. And I was just like, wow. And it's just like, I don't know, just like being there is just so key. And I feel like that's where the distance plays in, where it's like, yeah, we got the virtual. Yeah, that's why I already said the kids are not learning on the thing. So I obviously don't think it works. I don't really like I'd be real out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. Everybody is. Everybody is, dude. I've moved so many times in my life. Like, I went through yearbooks and stuff like, oh, we're always going to be in touch. No. Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like that's a tough aspect. The only thing I would say, not thinking about, you know what I'm saying, like right now, but just thinking about in general, I mean, we do got airplanes. Like, that's pretty next level. Like, we can really, the access we have to this planet is crazy. That access, because you think about a journey around the world in
it
3.
Is.
In the year 3.
Yeah.
In the year 3.
Take you 3 years to get around.
It probably would take you longer than that, and you're definitely dying on the journey.
Yeah, getting dysentery and seeing all sorts of shit.
And you're probably taking about 20 people with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we could literally do a 3-day journey around the entire world and stay in the nicest hotel and it not even really be too crazy. Like, and I feel like it's so tough to be like you're saying, like, how do we take advantage of that and the same balance enough to be around the people that we choose to be around?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is like your family when it all comes down to it. But then also to like access your like dreams and like the world to like even survive. I don't know. It's kind of tough, man. I don't really see it. I feel like it's not. I feel like its presence is, especially with the kids. I just see it, how much progress you get so quick with them, just being around. You know
I think that makes a difference.
Makes a huge difference.
Makes a big difference. So for me,
it's a huge difference.
I don't plan to leave this property for at least the next 10 years, if not more. You know, that's the goal, if not for the end of time. Yeah. But having that knowledge and that decision of planting a flag, to me makes it feel a little bit easier to open up to the community and meet my neighbors and stuff compared to living in LA, which felt transient. Like, okay, I'm going to be in this apartment for a year, 2 years, and then I'll have to find something cheaper or figure it out. And that's what kind of happened throughout those periods. So like you had bonds, but it was mostly through work. You know, didn't have any family down in LA.
Yeah, but real passerby.
Yeah. But that's your life. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
But you can't do it forever. You can't do it forever. And so there's that was part of the process of now hitting my mid-30s of going, okay, where do I want to be in 10 years, 12 years, 15 years? Financially, physically, emotionally. I can do the best I can with what I got, at the time. Can't predict everything. But where do I want to be? Yeah. And that has helped me get through pushing all these boxes and stuff out of storage and whatnot to be like, okay, this is the goal. The goal is to have this place be the best it can be. And if it's going to take me this long to do it, I'm going to do it. And that has made it easier for me to kind of put down those roots, you know? Do you feel that way with where you're at now? Or do you feel you have a way to go before you're going to want to be like, okay, I want to stay here actually for 10 years and put up roots?
Yeah. No, I'm right, bro. I'm right with you. I mean, and I feel like what you're saying is you're just walking in the truest intent and purpose. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, even if it's not your grand goals, for what I'm trying to do right now, I'm doing it, and I'm right with you. Cause what I'm trying to do is buy the land next door to my mom's house. And you've seen the little, what I mean? Like, there's just enough land to build a whole nother house. But like combining that land is really the value, where you're getting the value. But, so yeah, I'm feeling solid and I'm ready to do that. Like, as soon as possible. I know it's going to get complicated getting a home loan, all this fucking shit is like complicated.
Yeah,
but
they make it tough.
But I've been making the step. I've been taking the steps. I feel like it's real crazy right now because it's a pandemic-y, so I don't know what they're gonna be like. Like, where are you gonna work? I'm like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, same.
But I don't know why I shouldn't be able to get tapped into this money though. I don't really see why not if I got a good track record. Yeah. If I got a good credit score, so I'm putting myself in position right now, and also too, my mom, my step-pops are doing their part as well because they see the vision too, and it's really powerful when you have a combination of visions, you know. But they see the vision too about that property next door, and so the plan is they're going to refinance the house and then get that property, and then I'm going to get a loan to build a custom house on top of the property. That, you know what I mean, splitting the cost. You know what I'm saying? Basically,
yeah,
they're actually not really embarking no true cost. Their bills might go. I mean, their mortgage might go up, but it actually is not going to go up that much because the value of the house is actually going up. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really going to go up that much. You know what I'm saying? And then and now the property is worth even more than it was before because now you just doubled it in size.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then any improvement we on it is going to triple it. It's probably going to be like a $3 million property.
Beautiful.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In like 2
Why not?
years.
It's right in front of you, man. It's right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just doing that. I know there's some hurdles that I'm probably going to have to jump through, but we're ready to do all the stuff. Like, we got people lined up for the guarantor. People, you know what I'm saying? What's up? Whatever. Because, you know, the bank is always, there's always a way with the bank. I don't know if people really realize that. Because the bank will be like, oh, well, you don't have enough credit. And then they'll just leave it at that. But then you got to come back to them like, okay, what else can I do? Well, you could get a guarantor, but I don't know who's going to want to do that. They'll really throw that in there like, bro, you could have told me that from the beginning. But I know the bank. I've been in the bank so much.
Yeah, they try to mitigate their risks.
Yeah, they try to mitigate their risk. But if you keep asking and you keep providing the shit that they want and or need to secure it, we need to just show that you're bringing in this much. Okay, here. Well, where did that come from? It came from right here. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, okay, cool. Well, we also need a guarantor because we just need to make sure, okay, here's a guarantor. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like our little family is pretty all in on this little idea. So I feel like it's going to be. So I'm with you on the plan and roots, and I'm hoping it does add to my intent and purpose. And I also feel like the studio is part of that plan and the roots too. Okay, let me get a staple place that I work at. You know what I'm saying? That also people could see. People could like see as the flag posts like we're talking about. Okay, if we're stamping flag posts, we're trying to show people a way. And I think that's also playing into the impacting of the youth and the legacy as well. If you have media, you could show them. That's impact.
Absolutely.
And that's doing way more impact if that's your uncle. What? Yo, this is my uncle right here. Hey, check this out. Hey, this is my uncle, man. Hey, yo, you're telling, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just having that much more. So I feel like, you know what I'm saying? We're just in that little space right now, you know what I'm saying? Where we're just like, we're cooking and we're grinding, man. We're cooking and we're grinding.
We are cooking and we're grinding. So let's create a scenario. A year from now, there's a vaccine, or at least the virus has all but disappeared. What do you want your studio schedule to be week by week? What's kind of an ideal way for you to start a year from now?
That is a great question. So, I mean, this is how I look like it. I'm not too much of a morning person, so you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at starting like all my, so basically I want to have the studio available to be shown to somebody from like 10 a.m. to like 6 p.m. You know, so like if you call between that time, somebody's going to pull up. We'll be able to show it to you so that puts me at waking up maybe at like 7:30, and then at 8 to 9, just checking through emails, confirming the people that I'm doing the shows with, confirming maybe some future stuff, going through my emails, following up on messages for like 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm going out there. And this is Monday. Then I'm going out. Maybe doing 2 viewings of one of the spaces in the morning, and then I'm helping somebody get set up for the space because they're booked the whole afternoon. You know what I'm saying? Then that wraps up at like 6. You know what I'm saying? Their event. I'm done helping them set up at 6. Okay. And I come back around 11. And, make sure that they shut down or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Then if I got any other, like, I just need to use some studio at like 2 a.m., little silo, whatever, I make sure that's set up. They got the little keypad so they can get in, blah, 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 blah. boom, I tap out for the day. You know what I'm saying? Those are what like the Monday through Friday looks like, you know, where sometimes in the morning I'll have to get up and set somebody up right out the way. But that's why I give myself that little 2-hour little buffer. You know what I'm saying? Give myself that little 2-hour little buffer. And then morning I set somebody up right out the way. I mean, I feel like it's going to be a lot of answering the phone. You know what I'm saying? Which is what I do a lot now. I just like people just call me and I just answer the phone and I just deal with whatever I'm dealing with right there. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. I'm definitely very adept to working like that. And it's gonna be something like that. And it'll probably be what I'm thinking is it'll probably be like 3 days a week. Me personally am like doing that. I'm going to be mostly working on a schedule basis. Like, you know what I'm saying? If nothing's going, if nobody has no meetings or nothing there, I don't necessarily need to go up there. You know what I'm saying? I probably will every day just to be ready to be on site. What's up? You know what I'm saying? But if not, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I just got my other business I'm working on all the time. You know what I'm saying? So like say I'm waiting for somebody or something like that. Hey man, make sure I'm sending my emails out for I'm doing it. So I'm following up on any of the old, you know, the old events that are coming up, the upcoming events, stuff like that. Foresee that and then coordinating whoever's taking those other 3 days out of the week and what they're going to need to have any leftover, you know what I'm saying, like that, while all the time too making sure I got like an hour a day right after lunchtime where I could put into whatever I'm working on for like either my event coming up or my trip coming up, because that's why I don't really see me not going back to just events and trips.
Yeah,
like it's gonna happen.
I sure miss them.
Lit, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be like,
I know that's
how I see it running. That's how I see it running. You know what I'm saying?
That's the silver lining, as I talked about on Monday, the events in the future. Like people are gonna want to party after all this is over. Way after all this is over. It's going to be a while before people feel more comfortable getting together and stuff, man, because of the trauma.
I don't know.
The youth will be ready to go.
That's what I'm saying. The old people.
They're like,
yeah. But the youth.
Give it some time.
And that's the numbers, though. We got the numbers. Wasn't the average age like 30 in the United States?
Is it in the U.S. It's 30 right now?
It's actually not. Oh. I mean, that's high, actually.
Sure. Well, if all the boomers had kids, then yeah, the majority, which is what I am, a millennial, kid of a boomer. So yeah, the majority of us is going to be about that. Yeah, most of us. Shoot.
Motherfuckers is ready.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Oh, man. And so much 90s nostalgia around the corner, man. We're already starting to go through it. I
think so. So that's how I foresee. And then maybe, on the weekends, maybe I'm in maybe a little couple of the events, you know what I'm saying? I'm like actually in there running around during the event. Kind of like, what I was doing pretty much last year, you know what I'm saying? But like more all focused on me instead of me like reaching out. Like a lot of it's coming at me, whether I booked it or, whatever it might be, or you have to reach me as the number for the what's it called, or, we got to coordinate, hey, Ish, where's the lights? Oh, shit, man, I put those, in my car and bring them over.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I got them, I go get them.
Yeah, I already got them. Damn, my bad. I'll just leave those. You know what I'm saying? Or like stuff like that. So that's kind of what I foresee. And I do feel like at the year mark is when we're going to be transitioning into more of the community, like, outreach, because I do think we're going to need a year under our belt of just paying the rent, you know what I'm saying, getting the event, establishing the brand, establishing what's possible, doing a lot of different types of events so people can see all that's possible, getting like a reel pretty much set up, you know what I'm saying, establishing a rapport with the landlords, building with the banks and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, building maybe even some of the supplemental income that's going to need to come in that maybe is not directly tied to either having an event or renting out the studio. What other supplemental income are we bringing in? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are we able to, maybe even the people that don't book with us, are we able to kick them over somewhere else and then get a little commission off of that? Are we able to, come to your house and set you up a live stream? You know what I mean? What other little things can we be boosting? Do we have an Amazon locker inside the space so people come in, use the Amazon locker? You know what I mean? What other little things are we going to be booming? That's going to be the focus of the first year. That's the focus. You know what I'm saying? In that second year, let's really, because we're getting our mission at all times, but let's really get into our proactive direct action aspect of our mission, you know what I'm saying, of us, like, so that to me looks like, hey, we're going to just start, we're going to just go to the public school and say, yo, we're going to have a contest, from 16 to 18. You got to submit your family crest. If you don't got a family crest, you got to make one up. Boom. That's the contest. You get $1,000 in PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? And we got a couple little local sponsors. You know what I'm saying? We're doing stuff that perpetuates the creativity and sense of self-worth and sustainability that we're trying to, you know what I'm saying? That's how I see the whole vision. So maybe I'm doing like 1 or 2 of those a month after a year has gone by.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
That's what I'm thinking.
I dig it, man. Yeah, you got to find your flow and don't overreach. That's a tough part too, is when you want to do so much and a lot's coming your way for something that's new. Then you say yes to everybody, and then once it comes down, you're like, oh man, I got to figure this out.
Fuck, I'm saying yes to everybody. Fuck it, we're just gonna figure it out on the fly.
Figure it out.
We're just gonna figure it out on the fly. But you're 100% right, and that also gets back to the just sticking to the plan though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
But you're taking a risk too.
Yeah,
so
definitely
and you're feeling yourself out for you and your staff or whoever you're working with, and you have to find kind of where your boundaries are too, man. That's having worked a number of startups in LA. It is an exciting time, but then you're worn out. So you got to have that goal after the first year. Be like, okay, we need to decompress. And have a week just to chill and you know, don't book for the week. It's like, we're off this week. We're gonna figure out. We're gonna plan how we can better schedule. You know, I think that's really important for a company to realize.
They refresh it.
You gotta refresh. You gotta rehash. You gotta rewrite the rules.
I need to bake that in. Hey, we do a rehash every quarter, half quarter. Because you're right.
Yeah,
you got to do that. And I feel like there's a lot of employee or whatever. Sometimes there's a lot of tension around, like they're just going to wait for that little time or whatever. So you want to actually bake it in. You know what I'm saying? You don't want it to be like, the staff has been waiting to bring up this gripe for 6 months.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want, whoa, you guys been hurt for 6 months. Or like, I've been doing it wrong, or I've been, you know, disrespecting somebody for 6 months. You know what I mean? You don't want to hit that. And that's a good call out.
It's a pitfall when you see a lot of success and you keep sweeping the grievances under the rugs because you're like, we just booked this other job. We'll deal with it after that job. We just got another one. We'll deal with it after. But we got to hire all this staff. You never get to it. And instead you're chasing the almighty gross, you know, for the year.
And you're always chasing the like grow.
Yeah.
We're early. We're grow. Yeah.
Will kill all of your talented staff after the first 3 years, 2-3 years. It'll create this really good runway, but then all the people that were going to take off and launch some great projects all left the company because they're burned out.
I already know. I've been in a startup too, and completely. I didn't burn out, but I got burnt out, which caused friction, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like everybody was burnt out. And so I was just like, all right, man, you guys ain't doing this right. And they were just like, but I was just like, we're all like, I'm just looking around. But you're right. That's a good call out. I need to bake that in. I need to figure out how often I want to bake that in. But yeah,
it's a good call out for me too. If I start booking more and more gigs out of the studio, we're like, we don't book anything this week.
But I know me personally, I do LSD every 3 months because I'm gonna be chilling. But I hear you on the business. I'm gonna be
nice.
Cooling. That is what I call the grand reset.
Yeah.
And it gets me right on the path.
I need some of that grand reset. It's been a little bit too long for me, man. We'll talk about that off camera. Hook a brother up. I am excited for the Batman. And I saw a really cool breakdown of...
I'm pretty pumped for the Batman. At first I wasn't
more photos that came out. And this is why, because some people are like, I don't know about this version. The way that they got Catwoman right, even down to her nail polish of just having pink long nails, no red, no purple, nothing, makes her look so femme fatale.
Yeah, she does. And she's work.
Oh my God. Bad. So the production design, the character choices.
The production design does look good.
There's so much that goes into making a film. A film is so tough.
It looks like we're going to get more Gotham. And I feel like the last trilogy didn't have too much Gotham. And Justice League and Batman vs. Superman really had no Gotham. You know what I'm saying?
Just got Metropolis got.
Yeah, we actually got the most Gotham in Suicide Squad.
Beat to hell. Yeah, we did.
That's the most Gotham we got.
Well,
and I like Gotham as its own character.
Yeah, with the Joker and Harley when Batman.
That's the most Gotham we got.
Damn.
And we got them in the club and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, we're getting a TV show that's linked to the Batman on HBO. Yeah. That's
I think Gotham is a character though that could be led into a little bit more and could be rewarding. And I didn't catch that at first as this was all building up, but now I'm kind of feeling that, and like kind of what you're saying, like the design choices or whatever seem pretty filthy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Even like I feel like his car looks filthy. And he's about to have the bike.
Amazing.
And I feel like Batman Year One-y vibes. Batman Year One is pretty filthy because he's like kind of fucking up, but he's still filthy though. And he's like, I don't know, he's really overcoming a lot. And I feel like that, like, it's cool to see the super smooth Batman that just doesn't get hit. That's dope to see.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Every time.
But like when he's like MacGyvering shit, you know what I'm saying, making shit work. Alfred, pick me up. I feel like that shit is filthy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when he has to like, you know, he might just sleep on a regular kid's couch for a day. Whoa, shit. Wake up. You know exactly. Like, oh shit. The
I
kid,
don't know where I am.
Yeah. The kid's like, he's like, you tell your mom. He's like, nah, my mom's been working 4 jobs because we live in Gotham.
Why don't you do something about it, Mr. Wayne? I mean, Batman.
Why don't you help me the fuck out? Stop beating up my cousin. All he's doing is selling weed. Fuck.
Why don't you go beat up some of your...
Mr. Batman, sir?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Batman should go visit the Wayne board. Shit.
Don't be a 50 stash. All that gear. I don't keep cash. Oh, yeah, you don't keep cash.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You slept on my couch bleeding everywhere. Fuck. Who's going to clean that shit?
Oh, yeah, you leave a credit trail, Batman? Cool, I get you.
He might. Actually, Batman might do it. Batman might, like, send somebody back to help the family out. If that happened to him, I feel like he would.
Yeah,
maybe.
That'd be a neat thing. Mr. Wayne comes in a little bit. Well, but if Mr. Wayne always came in afterwards, it'd be like, wait a second, you're always cleaning up after the Batman.
Yeah, that's true. But you could send somebody.
Yeah,
you can help somebody's grandma.
You have a couple other foundations.
Yeah, you can help somebody's grandma. Oh my God, my grandma just got a grant for being old.
Congratulations, you made it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was the Wayne Foundation. Shit, that was wild. I guess this bloody couch don't matter anymore.
Oh my God.
If they throw some of that in there, I'm about to be hype.
Have you watched any of the Harley Quinn show, the animated show? Because that would be an amazing plot.
I need to watch.
You need to watch the animated show.
I need to watch the show. I seen the first episode and that's it. I need to watch the show. I just was going back and forth on freaking DC universe and the HBO, and I was like, "What?" Getting all confused, but now I got HBO.
Yeah, now the DC
first shows
are now there.
It just
Harley Quinn's there.
Slid over because I was actually trying to watch Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is filthy, and I was trying to rewatch that, especially because it was like October. I feel like that's real kind of October-y vibes. But and I was like, "Where the fuck is this?" Oh yeah, fuck, the DC universe doesn't exist. What's going on? Like what the? But I need to watch that. I've only seen that first episode, but that would be a pretty hilarious. That would be a pretty hilarious episode.
I have a idea that I wanted to pitch them for an episode where the Red Hood shows up and he starts killing henchmen, but the henchmen life insurance goes up the rates and they get all pissed off, so they start to unionize and go on strike.
Way.
And so all the villains are super pissed that Red Hood came into town because all the rates prices are going up. So it'd be kind of a commentary on healthcare and shit.
Bro,
because
you
Red
need
Hood's
to do that. That would be
I got
hilarious.
it. I got it ready.
That would be so easy.
But Jason Todd's a funny character, so if he could be rolling and making jokes and shit, I think that'd be a lot of fun for that type of role, and especially to be a thorn in the side of Batman. That'd be great.
That'd be pretty good. That's a good idea.
But the Batman, the Robert Pattinson one, the person that was breaking it down, Grace Randolph, she was able to articulate just again why production design is so important, and that got me even more excited for the film, because when you have somebody that's so passionate about the story, and after seeing these pictures, it seems like the story, speculation here, may be a combination of Seven and The Godfather. And
I want some Seven vibes. And
I love Seven. That movie's crazy.
I was thinking Seven, but with the plot of the Batman Arkham Origins.
Arkham Origin,
which is pretty much
Origins?
Batman Year One, the Long Halloween, where everybody's trying to assassinate him.
Well, yeah. The Long Halloween's mixed in this.
If you put Seven and Long Halloween together, you got the woo.
Because I think what it could be is that the villains
are all suspects.
Are taking over,
or
they're suspects, but the mafia, it's like the mafia versus the
villains.
Rogues Gallery.
Oh.
And that's why it's kind of like The Godfather, where the crime families of old are now under attack, but they're under attack from these villains.
Yeah.
And so
that could be filthy.
Batman's like moving in to be like the Michael Corleone to figure out how to take these guys down.
Yeah.
But the Riddler is
like
showing
that.
the Riddler's showing him like, oh, the mafia, the Waynes, they're all connected or something like that.
Yeah.
Like just the vibes from the trailers and from the photos, and it's a movie that I want to see. I don't have to have, I appreciate it, but I don't have to have a giant Batman that's ripped to shit.
Pattinson's
great.
pretty big.
Pattinson's
pretty big. He's like tall guy.
Yeah, he's a tall
stature.
guy. I want the Batfleck Batman. Don't get me wrong. I love that type of Batman.
Yeah.
But to have the more ephemeral detective slip into the shadows,
that's gonna be
but can take down one guy so everybody else doesn't want to fight. I want to see that story, of course. So I'm even more excited for it. I didn't think I could be, but for those set photos, maybe even more excited because it seems like all these characters, it's going to be slightly different world, whatever, but they're in the right hands, and that's got me pumped, dude. So we'll probably see that movie in 2 years.
That's a great point. When the hell are we going to see that? When are we going to see that? That's a great point. When are we even going to see that?
Have you seen Tenet yet?
I
haven't seen it either.
I mean, how do I see it? I don't even know.
I don't want to. I mean, I'd like to pirate it. I'm like, no, I'm going to buy it when it comes out, but I just would rather wait for the 4K experience at home.
Yeah,
that's why I got it.
That's what I was thinking.
Do it right the first time.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Are you about to get a new console?
I'm gonna get a PS5 first, but I'm not buying anything except food right now.
I feel like I'm gonna just wait.
Yeah,
might be spring summer.
It may be. I would love to play.
I have 4K TV, like not in my room, but I don't know what because I'm gonna be able to play Cyberpunk. I'm gonna be able to play it.
Yeah, I mean, I can play it on the PlayStation 4 Pro or the Xbox One that I have now, so I'm not jonesing to get one immediately. I'd like to for the smoother definition and the faster load times, absolutely, but
love it.
Between the two, I'm getting a PS5 first.
Definitely get a PS5 first.
But if I had the money,
I'm about to have an Xbox as well. Because my mom works there.
Yeah,
she's
you got to.
One,
Got to. But if I had the money, I'd upgrade the broadcast PC to a higher graphics card and more memory so I could edit faster. Yeah. And that's the thing that I'd be doing every day. So it's categorizing what's a priority. It's that. So if I had the money, that's what I'd get. But I don't. It's just coasting right now until after the election, and then apply to some day jobs, and
that's
then
exactly what I was thinking.
Start after the year.
After the election, then applying to some day jobs. That's exactly that's exactly where my timing was happening. They might hand out some money. They need to just hand out 10 racks. To everybody. That'd be great. To everybody.
That'd be great. Instead of like going through all of the unemployment weeks, all the unemployment weeks, be like, everybody gets 10 grand, reset. There's even talks of resetting the currency.
I know.
Because it's just gonna get worse. There's like we can't make it better. It's just gonna get worse. We need a reset.
Yeah, I know. They're talking pretty wild. So wild that I'm mad that they haven't given us like a whole bunch of money. Because you know what I mean? Like they're playing around. Mm-hmm. Like they're playing with the Fed rate so the inflation goes nowhere. Yeah. That's never, ever, ever, ever been done. And they're also crazy. What's the sneaky thing is these big companies like Walmart and Amazon, they're replacing niggas with robots right now because they're like not working. And this is like the down. You would have lost if you had to fire somebody and bring in a whole robot core. But since everybody had to just stop working, you can bring in the robot core and it's like even cheaper.
Necessity.
So there's about to be the recovery is about to only be for certain people.
Yeah.
It's about to get real rough.
This is going to be a rough winter.
If they don't give out no cash, is what I'm saying.
Maybe a Hooverville winter. Well, it's, I've listened to Andrew Yang lately, who's told from the Democratic side, make the deal for the $1.8 trillion. You know, the
You need to stop. Everybody needs to stop playing. I'm cool with chaos. I said that earlier in the cast, but I just don't feel like everybody else is so cool.
You're cool. Other people are cool that are making money, especially the billionaires in the digital world that have made so much money during the pandemic.
More money. Exponential money.
I know. Proper taxation upon the rich would help with a lot of these problems, but that is... it's like shouting into the ether, right? All we can do right now is vote And then after the vote, if it didn't go the way that you want it to, be active every day to educate yourself and figure out what the hell happened.
I don't know if there's. They said it's vote or die. I thought that's what they told me last time. I think there is no other option.
I'm throwing out the optimistic card right now. For me, I'm going to stay home
prepared
with all of my bunker down food and just see what's going to happen.
I'm also about to leave the country right before. I didn't mean to say it like that.
Yeah.
But no, I'm literally like leaving the country on the 30th.
If I could head up to Canada legally, I possibly would. Yeah. But I'm going to write it out, see what happens.
But I'll be back on the 8th. We'll see what happens. I think it'll sift out around like November 15th, 17th.
Yeah, because the ballot counts.
There's going to be some
like
BS.
I know who I'm voting for. I'm set in my ways. I'm not thrilled about it because I'm trying to vote for the planet. That's who my constituent that I think about is the planet. That's what I think about first. And we're not doing enough.
Nobody cares about the planet. It's really kind of nutso. It's really kind of nutso. You know, we got to keep the fracking going. You know, we just have to. We have to, Josh.
Yeah.
Because if it's us or the planet, we got to use us.
You know, what it is it's the economic dependency that people have for that as jobs. If you were to relieve the stress of that economic dependency with some sort of relief or transition, they'll be like, "Oh, learn to code." Well, fuck you.
No, yeah.
All right. That was the first thing that I studied at university under a full ride scholarship with the Air Force. Tough. Wasn't for me. Okay, I have a lot of respect for it. Not for me. I don't want to make a living
in a couple
that way.
classes, but I could not do that all day.
So that, and I know that's turned into a meme
that's
and
what
whatnot.
they try to.
But if we are smart enough to develop weapons,
you're asking a lot, Joshua,
that can be pinpointed through a satellite to drop through a certain window on a certain building on a certain floor, shouldn't we be smart enough to create a system that takes care of people in that realm?
They don't want to.
I know.
Because you're 100% right.
No profit in it.
Where's the profit in that? Where's the fun in that, pretty much? They're asking, where's the fun? Well, where's the fun in eating my vegetables? My mom always told me doing that. I did it. There was no fun involved.
The fun was after the fact.
Yeah.
The fun's
surviving.
The health.
Yeah. But, man, these guys don't care. But I feel like my plans are pretty much the same no matter who wins.
Yep,
my plans are pretty much the same. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, flagpole, bunker down. From the bunker down, definitely build up. Yeah, build up. Got my own business, bunker so regardless,
build up.
You know what I'm saying?
2021.
Yeah, I'm also not even gonna count it years no more. This is we're just in we're just in time.
I'm in mid 30s.
I'm just in
early 30s, whatever.
We're just not going to count it anymore because last time I went, Happy New Year 2020 was the word. You know what I mean? Let's just get rid of that.
Yeah.
Let's just not even
Well, I'm sure.
And didn't they say the calendar was fake anyway?
Yeah, the Roman calendar changed a couple of dates or whatever.
They reset.
Why don't we just go back to one?
We need to start completely fresh. I 100% agree. I feel like I've been going by straight moons. Full moon, okay, new month. You know what I'm saying? Let me go over my goal list and get back on it. You know what I'm saying? After about 12 of these, 12 summers, you know what I mean? Then I know it's been about a decade. After it gets hot 12 times, it's been about a decade, I feel like that's where I'm going off of. But you're 100% right. Plans not changing. We're building up from a good foundation. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a positive. Trying to throw the optimistic card. If you could survive this, it really can't get too much worse. And that might not sound like a joke, but that's pretty serious. We had some pretty crazy stuff happen in real recent memory. And one of the least notable things is the leader of North Korea faking his death. So let's just throw that, let's just keep it in perspective. That was one of the more least nutso moments.
Yeah. Have we seen him alive at all?
They just had a parade and he was out there.
Okay.
And I was literally like, what the fuck?
Oh, my goodness. Well, we can do the best we can with what we can control. And this studio, your endeavors, is what we can do, no matter what's happening in the world around us. But to still be involved with the world around us
engaged.
And engaged as responsible citizens is what's asked of us. Yes. But also to forge ahead and create our own paths and take those that want to grow with us along for the ride. It's a good place to be, despite a pandemic that's killed a chunk of us.
It's a great place to be.
Yeah.
Really good. Blessed.
All right, man. Where can people find you online?
Always find me at @thatdude_ish. But also check out the studio page, studio_143_primed. But yeah, man, you can check me out right next to my guy J.Gray.
Boom.
That's the guy.
Boom. All right, man. Thanks for coming back.
Always.
Onto the show.
Had some good talks.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. #J.Gray. All the social media is at Mr. Joshua Gray. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.